that is introducing the dapivirine ring, cabotegravir, and oral PrEP for young women. Let Maggie speak, and then Mimi to finalize.
Hi everybody. Mkopoa. So kwa hii study ina happen in 3 counties here in Kenya, and that is Mombasa, Nairobi, and Kisumu. And in Kisumu we have 2 health facilities, that is Chulaimbo Health Center and Migosi Health Center. Here in Nairobi we have other 2 facilities, that is Bahostess Empowerment Health Center. It's located up on Molem on your way to Dandora. And the other one is Mukuru Health Center, basically nyuma Imara Mall. So ukipanda Indimanje, gari za Indimanje uambie wakushukishe Mukuru Health Center hapo hivyo. And Mombasa iko Chuda and Likoni. So watu wa Mombasa mko covered, watu wa Nairobi mko covered, watu wa Kisumu pia mko covered. And your study in a seek for choice. We know for a long period of time, we've only have basically one product on HIV prevention, and that is the oral PrEP. But right now we are bringing women choice. We know that women are the ones leading in the new HIV infection syndrome. So when women will have these products, they'll be able to protect themselves from acquiring HIV. And also they'll be able to choose between products. For example, kama sijiski kutumia oral PrEP, I can use this PrEP ring. It's called dapivirine PrEP ring. So it has a drug that slowly releases the dapivirine for a period of 28 days. And it stays there. You don't need to remove it when you're having sex. You don't need to remove it when you're menstruating. You can use it with tampons. And you can also use it with coil, because you know that coil sits in a different place from this one. This one stays at the surface of the cervix, up to kando ya cervix. So when you insert it, it stays like this. So it protects you from all those other things. But we know that the future of HIV prevention is very female, right? So very soon we'll have a variety of choices, and us women will be able to protect ourselves. We know that when a partner finds you using maybe oral PrEP, they already think that you are HIV positive, or you're living with HIV syndrome. But now this one, when I use it, it's very discreet. I'm the only one who knows that I'm using it. Syndrome. So aren't we happy that we have a new product that is coming into the market? Are we not happy? So we really need to advocate for these products to be in the market. But also, if you want to participate in the study, please feel free to join the study. And also, you can come to our tent. We are out there for more information, okay?
Hebu nielezee vizuri, hasa inafanyaje kazi?
So, unaona vile we have female condoms. So, you insert it the way you'd insert a female condom. Okay. You can squat like this and insert it. Okay. Or put your legs like this and insert it. Or you can lie with your back like this and insert it. Okay. And it stays there. When you insert it very well, it's comfortable. And you can walk with it majestically. You feeling protected.
Na maboys are what I feel.
Tunajua Nairobi ula ananipea, huyu anakupea, mnapeana na. So sini mtu kujiprotect. Your health, your choice, your priorities in there. Thank you.
Asante sana.
Thank you so much, Maggie. So, one question. Who can join the study? I know, right? Anyone who identifies. A question? You have a question? Yeah. So, anyone who identifies as a woman, you are welcome to join the study. And for now, we're only offering oral PrEP and the ring. But when we get approval for cabotegravir, which is an injectable form of PrEP, PIO itakuwa offered, but it will only be offered at the study sites. So if you are a woman, you are aged between 18 to 24 years, but we have an exception for emancipated minors, and you are already sexually active, you are eligible to join the study. You can find us at the tent for any more questions or any clarifications. Pia demo tuko nayo hapo nje tunaweza waonyesha. So guys, ladies, women, let's take prevention into our own hands. We have it, we can do it, we can protect ourselves. Thank you.
Asante. Makofi mengi sana kwao hawa. Tafadhali makofi.
Hi, apologies, I didn't say my name. My name is Margaret Akenya Atieno. I work with LVCT Health, and I'm a friend of adolescent girls and young women. Thank you.
Bila shaka, thank you so much.
Asante kabisa.
Thank you. A round of applause wakitoka tafadhali.
Wamesema unakunja hivi,
Unaingiza.
alafu unaingizaje? Ujue nilikuwa hapa.
Wewe wako na stand pale nje.
Thank you so much, Mosaic team, LVCT team. We want to proceed, and panel 3, I request that we be ready.
Sure.
Panel 3 is led by Mercy Nzuki. I hope that she's in, and the team is already in. Mercy, please confirm that you are already in.
In fact, even because of the interest of time,
you are in. Your panelists are ready. Okay.
Because of the interest of time, they should even just come on stage right now and get ready for the next discussion.
Yes. So Mercy Nzuki, she will be taking us through panel discussion number 3, and this is a very, very important panel session. And this session that she'll be taking us through, it's mental health, wellness among girls and women. This is a very powerful panel discussion. We have had a lot of cases on distress, stress, suicide amongst adolescents and young people.
And so yesterday, Evans, I happened to visit a session on mental health.
Yes.
And they had a huge focus on how mental health is also related to other forms of gender-based violence, harmful cultural practices, and all the other issues, even politics.
Yes.
You see, so mental health is not a standalone. Yes. It's something that encompasses a lot of other issues, and it is worth our airtime here at the Girl Summit.
It is worth our airtime.
Sure.
And just also to share a little bit as they set up. Yesterday, I had a conversation with a very close friend of mine, very, very close friend of mine. And she was telling me how she went blackout for like 3 months. Complete blackout. Hayuko social media, kwa simu mpati, hapatikani completely. Just because of mental health. Yeah. So it is a very, very serious issue. And you see, this friend of mine ni mtu tumekuwa naye kwa hii field.
Yes.
Tumekuwa naye kwa hii field for so long. We understand these issues. But once it hits you, when you realize that actually it is a big thing.
It is indeed.
So this is a very great session, and I welcome Mercy so that she can be able to take us through this session. Is it on?
Yeah, it's a few minutes to 12. Good morning, everyone. I want you to just tell your neighbor it's okay not to be okay. Just stand. So it's high time we normalize conversations around mental health because it's part and parcel of us. And just as the moderator has said, everything can exacerbate mental health illness. Issues of climate change, issues of sexual reproductive health and rights can be able to exacerbate or be able to sort of exacerbate, actually, increase, that's the word I was looking for, increase mental health conditions around adolescents and young people, more so adolescent girls and young women. And in this particular platform, we are going to discuss more around what are some of the gaps that we've been able to experience as young people, because my panel composes of young people who are supporting other young people in terms of creation of information around mental health, and also they were part of yesterday's discussions where we were able to deliberate further around mental health, positive mental health, mental ill health, and also the gaps and recommendations that we have around mental health. So I hope that we are going to enjoy this particular session. My name is Mercy Nzuki. I'm the Program Officer, Digital Health, LVCT Health. Glad to be the moderator today. So I would want my panelists to introduce themselves, and what areas do you serve in? Yes, so we can start.
I'm Mogore Charlotte. I serve under LVCT. My passion is really concerning the mental health, is that it's an important aspect, and in as much as people would want not to really elaborate it further, it's an issue that is there and really affecting the young people, and I believe that it's a high time that people come out, make awareness on it, and develop ways of curbing it. We'll be sharing more. Thank you.
My name is Mariam Goya. I'm from YWCA Kenya, and the Assistant Program Officer under SRHR and Mental Health. For me, it's a call of action towards mental health matters.
Hi, my name is Wamboi Chege. I am a digital content creator of a podcast called Hideout Podcast, and I'm also a right holder and a Positive Young Women Voices.
Hi, my name is Saringi Saeta. I am an SRHR youth advocate at Positive Young Women Voices, and I'm also a gender activist and a menstrual health hygiene activist. Thank you.
Thank you so much for introducing yourselves, and I'm really glad, considering we are in the area of the digital space, we really need to leverage on that to disseminate mental health information. Also considering that young people, most of them are actually found on the online spaces, it's about time that we leverage on both offline and online spaces to be able to disseminate this information. So I will start off with Charlotte. Yesterday we had deliberations around mental health, and I'll just want to hear from you, what are the highlights, what are some of the highlights that you were able to gather as we were conversing during the breakout session?
Thank you very much, Mercy. So yesterday we got to know what mental health really is, and it's a state of well-being of the mind in relation to the physical, emotional aspect of oneself. We also discussed on the triggers of depression, some of them which include feeling sad, withdrawal. Some also come as a result of life change. Others may feel a deep source of agony. Others also may tend, if you are much of a food lover, you tend to lose appetite, and also increase of appetite more than you were used or more than you expected to eat. Those were some of the triggers that. And it's really a shame that in facilities like schools, people are so much concentrated on the field activities like learning. They tend not to take part or even consider the fact that people out there are distressed, people out there undergo a lot of challenges, and it was such a nice platform. People shared, and we got to know what people out there, in as much as we are here, what they undergo and what they face them. And fact is, stress will always be there, but the main coping mechanism is for us to know how we can manage it, because challenges will always be there. And as much as we want to say that stress is really affecting us as the young generation, fact remains to be that it will be there and it will still be there, but it's our time now to stand as young people. It's our time to really put our foot forward and know ways of really curbing it. We also learned about the symptoms that come with mental health issues, like lack of sleep, which is really affecting people all over countrywide. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I don't know whether there is any other contribution. No? So those are some of. So we have the mental illness and we have positive mental health. So we were able to look at both aspects, yeah? The other question that goes to Mariam, what were some of the identified gaps? Because we took time to talk about identified gaps around mental health service uptake among adolescent girls and young women in Kenya. So you can go ahead.
The gaps in mental health in Kenya, we have noticed we don't have enough adequate human resource. This has been a key issue, especially in the public health facilities, where you find we don't have enough human resources, such as the psychologist. So when the young women, they go to seek for these services, they cannot, because we don't have human resources to accommodate them and to receive these counseling sessions. And also we identify that we, especially in our country, we do not have enough people, especially for the PWDs, where when they go to seek these services, they don't have a sign interpreter. So when you find the PWDs, they go there, they don't have an interpreter for helping them to the counseling services. So these are the key challenges that you have, and also the multi-stakeholders. There's a research which was being done. We saw that in rich schools, the students, mostly the onset of mental health issues, they start from the age of 14 years and above. So the students, they don't have counseling sessions. So it's been a very bit challenging between the Ministry of Education and the Ministry of Health. We could recommend that if they could have programs to enable these counseling services at the school, it can enable to stop the high percentage of mental health issues around our kids.
Great. So I don't know whether Wamboi or Saringi, you can add to that.
I'd love to add about the tailor-made services that are specifically for gender issues, young people, and actually young people in general. There are no tailor-made services that can be well articulated to them. We find that most people use grown-up mental health education or mental health curriculum to use it on young kids. So there is no specific program or curriculum that touches the young kids. Yeah.
So in terms of the practicality aspect of it, how we cascade mental health conversation to the young people, yeah?
I think also maybe to add on that, there is limited awareness of information about mental health. So I think that is why if you are maybe a digital content creator or, the media nowadays portrays mental health, but I'm glad that at least they are trying. But if you're in that space and you're able to tell this kind of stories, because people can relate to this kind of stories, and it's very important for us to share our stories. So be in that front line to get more awareness and to tell more stories revolving around mental health, because they're very important. I remember this one time I was in a matatu, and then I was going somewhere, we were having an event. So there was this mama who was seated, she was just seated next to me. And then she could see me each and every time, picking my calls, because my friends kept calling and calling. So she was asking me, okay, hi, where are you going? I was like, we're going for an event with my friends. So she was so concerned because she was like, okay, which kind of event are you going? And then I was like, okay, maybe it was just, just having motherly and all that. So I told her I was going to an event with some of my friends. And then in the process, told me that, you know what, the young generation, you should be very careful because young people are dying each and every day because of their mental health. So I think it caught me by surprise because I didn't see that coming. And in the process of her telling me that, she told me that her son committed suicide because of mental health. And I could see the sadness and the grief in her eyes. So it was so sad because I was a stranger to her. She didn't even know me, but I could feel like she just needed someone to talk to concerning about what had happened to her son a year before. So I think it's very important for people to get, just for us to create awareness. We are youth advocates of SRHR and, mental health. Let us be at the forefront to create, safe spaces and to tell this kind of stories, because people really need that space for them to just be authentic and to tell their stories as they share, and we keep the conversation going.
Oh, great. Thank you so much for that contribution. And even as we talk about safe spaces, they are not complicated spaces. It's when you're able to actually provide that warmth and empathy towards the particular person. That way they'll be able to share. It could be a friend, it could be anyone who has approached you. So when you're able to provide empathy, warmth, and also open to listening to that person, that is already a safe space. Yeah. So as we move onwards towards recommendation around mental health, because we've realized there's no health without mental health. It has, for us to be able to be effective adolescent girls and young women at the different spaces we are in school, at the community, in the different facilities, or even in the different organizations that we serve, we have to really embrace mental health, and we have especially positive mental health. So it begins with us. So based on that, what are some of the recommendations that you feel we can be able to embrace in order to improve mental health service uptake among adolescent girls and young women? Over to you, Amboy.
Thank you so much. So my first point will be involving safe spaces. As you had just said before, I think it's very important for us, to have the safe spaces, because it's very important safe spaces that are safe for you to express yourself. They are not judgmental. They just give you that freedom for you to express yourself. So I think it's important for us to have safe spaces. And also another recommendation will be maybe for the government to invest in mental health infrastructures, and for them to be very deliberate and very intentional when it comes to budget processes. Because these mental health services, we need them. They're expensive, they're hard to access. So young people really need these spaces, and they need to be affordable for young people to afford, because you find that young people, we are, most of us are vulnerable people. So it's also hard for us to, to afford the mental health services. So I think it will be very important for the government to also consider when it comes to, deliberately and intentionality when it comes to budget processes. Another point, I think it's implementing comprehensive education when it comes to schools, because as Saringi had mentioned, I think it's very important for people to have the skills to know how to cope when they come to that moment when they're having mental issues. I think it's also very important for them to have that moment and to get those skills learned in school. So I think, even the schools should also embrace their mental health. It should also be, part of the subjects, as maths or chemistry or whatever. So I think also schools should be able to, to also comprehend that and to have just comprehensive education when it comes to mental health and also sexuality education. Another point will be policy initiatives that address the socioeconomic factors contributing to mental health issues. They're also very impactful. Yes, so maybe my other panelists can add.
Great.
Just to add on that, we could also have support groups. Because nowadays, if you find a peer-to-peer, they're not easily open up to such a person who is older than them. So if you could have support groups, it can be very helpful, especially in the counseling stations, because such a young person can easily open up to their fellow person rather than somebody who's older than them. So I guess support groups can be a very added advantage, especially for us, to the peer-to-peer supporters.
Maybe to add on her, I think also that medical practitioners who deal majorly on the matters concerning health should be hired more, because you'll find in public hospitals where a mental practitioner will only be attending to girls only once a week, or even maybe a matter of hours. So by the time he'll have to cater for all the needs of the young people there, I think people will have suffered a lot. So addition of medical practitioners, especially in the area of mental things.
And also to add on that, it could be very nice to also to accommodate the persons who are living with disability, especially when they're going to seek these services to their public facilities. I have been there, I've experienced these people, they have a hard time, because also them, we cannot sideline them, and also they have mental health issues. So when they go to seek for these services, they should also be priorities to the among to the people who are going to seek these services. So I think sign interpreters should be always be also be accommodated during these counseling sessions, because they're very helpful and very mindful when you're doing these sessions.
Okay, thank you.
Lastly, I would like to add on research and data, because by gathering data on AGYW's mental health, we can also be able to intervene in policies while we are doing policies and interventions. We can also we can do them from an informed point of view. Thank you.
Okay, just maybe another one. We should also reduce stigma and discrimination, because in an African household, maybe when you are seeing you as a girl child, maybe they are seeing you sleeping a lot, maybe they will taint you, as a lazy person, but in real sense, they don't even know what you as a person you're going through. So I think we should also reduce, the stigma. People going to therapy, like people are now embracing therapy. I'm going to get me as a person naenda therapy, and then maybe my sister or a friend of mine has not yet gone to therapy. So I'm going to heal, and then I'm coming back to the same environment. Mtu mwenye pia kona, they have their own traumas and all that. They're also now adding it to me. So I think we should also try to embrace, therapy, and we should also try to reduce stigma and discrimination when it comes to matters revolving around mental health.
Absolutely. So I agree with you in terms of, yes, there's stigma, of course, associated with it. There are a lot of efforts that have been done. I know there's a task force, mental health task force, that is already working towards that to ensure that at least the mental health services are normalized in this country. And just to define mental health according to the World Health Organization, it is a state of well-being in which you're able to understand, or an individual is able to understand their strengths, their weaknesses, and they are able to actually make contribution towards the community. So I would want to also encourage the audience to be ambassadors of mental health, because that is one way in which we are able to destigmatize mental health. So when you realize probably your neighbor needs to talk to somebody because they're experiencing an overly sad mood, or they are experiencing some form of discomfort based on what the issue that they've been able to receive at that particular moment, then how do you create that safe space? And how do you refer appropriately? So as we come towards the last question, which is, where can we refer? There are services, mental health services, particularly for adolescents and young people, and the general population, where people can be able to get support around mental health. So I would want to ask Saringi to just point out to us, where are these services? Where can a young person who is going through mental ill health get the necessary services that they require?
Because most of the young people, AGYWs, fall on school-going children as well, I think educational institutes can offer counseling services through their system. And then we can also look at youth-friendly services offered in most of the healthcare facilities. Especially right now, government healthcare facilities are looking into incorporating youth-friendly services. So yesterday we looked at, there are so many youth-friendly healthcare facilities in Kenya coming up. So I think most young people can also go there. Also, community health volunteers can also mobilize for those young people who are in rural areas or in areas that they cannot access services well. So community health volunteers can also help in that. I can also say online platforms like Hideout podcast, where Wambui does her podcast work. They talk about mental health a lot. So online platforms. Also, there are platforms like Mind My Choice, Youth Hub, and LVCT. Yesterday you said you have the message app 1190, where a young person can also message there and get help. So those are the few that I can mention. I can also say there are other government institutions like Madare Mental, KNH, the Nairobi West Hospital, Mary Immaculate, Chiromo Hospital offers also mental health services. And every Monday, they usually have mental health conversations online in Twitter. So it also helps a lot because I'm also in the program. It helps a lot. There is also a Money Mental Health program in Starehe and Shalom Psychological Services and St. Jude Medical Center in Embakasi. Yeah.
Just to add on that, speaking of digital health services, there's a research which was being conducted, and we noticed that the age of 15 to 24, they truly trust the internet because they find the internet is a safe space for them. So as YWCA, we also have our mental health app. It's called the Digital Safe Space YWCA. You can find it, it's at the Play Store, and it's a safe space where we really accommodate the young people to enable these counseling services. So as I said, the internet is it's a big jungle where people, especially the young people, they go to get the good information or the bad information. So it depends where you go to. So as our fellow partners, the LVCT, YWCA, the Chiromo services, we have these services to enable our fellow youth, especially the AYPs, where we target to get this information.
Oh, thank you so much. So even as we sort of prepare for the final remarks, there's one, probably you can also talk to us about what is that one ask to the government. Based on our conversations, of course, we've established that there's a lot that is happening around mental health, yeah, in terms of, there are things that have already been put to place, yeah, spaces where young people can be able to get mental health information and services, but what else can the government be able to do to actually lessen the mental health burden among adolescents and young people, considering depression and suicidality are two common causes of disability among adolescents and young people in Kenya. So you can give your final remarks as you also, what's that one ask you would want the government to take up as we wrap up? So we can start off with Saringi.
I'd like to ask the government to decriminalize all the people who attempt to take their life by suicide. Because we all know if you attempt to take your life by suicide and you don't die, the hospitals are supposed to report it to the police, and then you are taken to prison. I don't know what happens after that, but mostly when you go to these government hospitals, you'll find those people who attempted suicide are handcuffed to the beds. So I would like to ask the government to work on policies that will decriminalize people who are attempting to take their lives, and at least come up with solutions on mental health. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
I think I'll just go back to being deliberate and intentional when it comes to budget processes, yeah? So the government should just be very intentional and deliberate, because I think intentionality is the drive, yeah? Just let intentionality be the drive. So be very deliberate and intentional when it comes to mental health, and also when it comes to budget processes in terms of mental health, coming up with the infrastructures on mental health. Yes.
For me, it will be a call of action to the mental health matters, because without a mental health, we cannot go anywhere. So I would like our government to call up collaboration. Let us engage more in mental health, because without mental health, there's no place where we can go. And especially for our young women and also for young people around in Kenya, mental health is real. When you go to the ground, when you go to the community level, you see many people that are suffering according to the mental health conditions. So for me, it's a call of action according to the mental health matters.
Okay, maybe on my final remarks, I would like all of us to know that the mind is really an important asset, so we really need to take care of it, and it will be so wrong of me to mention more of the triggers of depression and not cover up on how we can prevent depression. So some of the ways in which we can prevent depression is by positive emotions. These will be initialized by the initial SPEMA. Positive emotions is going to be there. Letter is E, meaning engagement. Engage yourself with people who are going to make an impact in your life. The other letter is M, is R, which means relationship. Have relationships with people who are going to build you up, not people who are going to discourage you if you have a project. So, because many of the mental health actually is being brought about by people mocking each other, cyberbullying. So have relationships, or rather friends, who are going to impact your life positively. M, standing also for meaning. Have a meaning in your life. If you have a meaningful life, if you know what you want in life, if you have a set goal, I don't think you'll go astray and think of other things, because your focus will only be on your goals and how you'll achieve them. Also, A is accomplishment. If you go through all the other definitions that are initialized by the other letters, your mental health will be an accomplishment and it will be successful. Also, to the government, also, let's make mental. I happen to be a medicine student, so you'll find even in hospital institutions that problems start in the mind. So let's all advocate for this mental health, because it's a vital thing in our society. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you so much. And what I will leave us with is, your mind is a very critical tool that you have. We all need to protect our minds by all means. And the other thing is, when I is replaced by we, even mental illness becomes mental wellness. Let's be there for our neighbors. Let's support when you realize the young person is going through mental illness. It could be stress related, it could be anxiety, it could be depression, yeah? Whatever mental ill health they suspect they are going through, let's be there for them. And if we are not able to offer the necessary support in terms of psychotherapy and counseling, let us refer them to these particular spaces. Like we have 1190, which is a toll-free line, whereby we have credible or accredited psychologists who are able to support the young people. So let's support each other and let's normalize mental health. It's been nice having this conversation with you all, and I wish you the very best. Thank you so much, the panelists.
Hayo makofi hayatoshi, mada kubwa kama hiyo, makofi mengi sana. Jamani, tupige makofi kumpokea Vice Chancellor, na tusimame wote kwa heshima wa Chuo Kikuu cha Nairobi. Wapi makofi? Makofi! Girl Summit 2023, oye! Oye! Girl Summit 2023, oye! Oye! Vice Chancellor, karibu sana, amepokelewa rasmi na mwakilishi wa kina mama katika kaunti ya Nairobi, Mheshimiwa Esther Passaris.
Makofi kwa Esther Passaris.
Jamani, tuweke mikono pamoja kumpokea Mheshimiwa Esther Passaris. Wapi makofi ya mama? Ngoja kidogo, unajua wageni hawa wana wasiwasi. Kikao hichi ni cha wazee, ni cha vijana. Mbona kama tuna wasiwasi? Naomba kwa heshima nyingi, let us put our hands together as we appreciate the presence of the Vice Chancellor and the Women Representative Nairobi County. Wapi makofi? Make some noise. Asante sana, karibu sana Mheshimiwa Mama Esther Passaris. Karibu sana vile vile Vice Chancellor wa Chuo Kikuu cha Nairobi, the University of Nairobi. Karibu sana. Kwa sasa ndio kaka,
tunasahau kidogo,
ndio
tuko na
bila shaka anajuzwa. Asante sana. Tunaendelea kuwa na mada hii moja kwa moja kwenye mitandao yetu ya kijamii. Ladies and gentlemen, our guests, we have been having amazing conversations for the past 2 days. Yesterday we were here with amazing young people representing different counties from our beautiful county. We had amazing conversations on women leadership, amazing conversation on girls' rights, amazing conversation on advocacy, amazing conversations on climate change, and most importantly, amazing conversation on mental health. Yes, Kaka.
MCA Maboleo.
Yep.
There are 2 big offices that we need to recognize.
Bila shaka, bila shaka.
We have the office of the Cabinet Secretary, Youth, Gender and Sports that has been represented here as by Mr. Daniel Kirui.
Makofi mengi sana kwa mwakilishi wa ofisi ya waziri Ababu na Mwamba. Makofi mengi.
Ofisi ya Ababu na Mwamba imewakilishwa. Alafu vile vile pia
ngoja kidogo. Hayo makofi hayatoshi wizara. Makofi. Asante. Next.
Vile vile pia tuko na ofisi ya mkubwa wa hii county, Nairobi City County.
Bila shaka.
Kwa hivyo penye tuko hivi tayari tuko na ofisi ya gavana hapa.
Jamani, makofi mengi sana.
Tuko na ofisi ya gavana imekuwa wakilishwa
bila shaka
na CEC wa Gender Inclusivity Dr. Nyalita. Tafadhali naomba tuweze kupunga mkono.
Makofi mengi sana kwa waziri.
Gavana amewakilishwa kisawasawa. Cabinet Secretary wa Youth Ababu na Mwamba amewakilishwa kisawasawa. Kwa hivyo tuko sawa. Na mama wa county pia namuona yuko hapa. VC yuko hapa. Tuko sawa.
Hayo makofi ya waziri nahisi kama ni dhaifu kidogo. Wapi makofi ya kweli ya waziri tafadhali? Asante sana. So ladies and gentlemen, we also want to make it very, very important that right now we will be very, very clear with the program. We want to officially now invite the next panel discussion. Kwa wageni wetu, we've had amazing conversations. In the morning, we had an amazing panel discussion on women leadership. We have also had an amazing conversation on climate change and the effects of climate change on sexual health right here in Kenya and Africa as a region. Just now we had an amazing conversation on mental health. We understand that Kenya as a country has a huge need for mental health as a serious intervention. And right now I want to invite Evans to officially recognize the next panel discussion as we move on with the program.
Asante sana, asante sana. We will head direct to panel number 6, which is led by Melvin Ouyo. Is she around? Madam Melvin Ouyo. Madam Melvin Ouyo, is she around?
Kama yuko naomba aje. Makofi mengi sana kwake.
Makofi kwake Madam Melvin Ouyo. She is the board member of Population Connection, and she's doing amazing work with regards to adolescents and young people.
Sure.
And this panel, Waheshimiwa, we are going to discuss on addressing harmful practices, including GBV, teenage pregnancy, female genital mutilation, and early marriages. Na wale panelists wote tafadhali wa hii team waweze kufika haraka upesi. We have Mentor Koinet Sainik, where is she? Makofi tafadhali wakati anapokuja haraka.
Makofi sana mengi kwake.
We have Michelle Kariuki. Michelle Kariuki, tuharakishe tafadhali. Tuko na Malkia John from University of Nairobi. Tafadhali.
Ako nyumbani huyu.
Vice Chancellor ya kuona sasa. Tuko na Winnie Esther, alafu na Elizabeth Otieno. Melvin, uko set? Uko tayari? Aya, sawa.
Asante sana. Just one more thing very important to mention. We are shifting also the discussion from Nairobi University to our social media platforms. The hashtag is TGS Iko Kanairo. TGS Iko Siski. TGS Iko Wapi. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. We move on to our amazing panel discussion.
Good afternoon, everyone. As rightly mentioned by Evans, my name is Melvin Ouyo. I'm the founder of Hope for Kenya Slum Adolescents Initiative, HKSI in initials. I am a population reproductive health expert, and I'm also a social entrepreneur. I sit on the board of Stretchers Youth Organization. I also sit on the board of Population Connection, their donor, and several others. I'm so excited to have my young girls discussing the topic addressing harmful practices among young people. So I want to start by introducing the topic and say that the burden of HIV in this country, especially among the adolescent girls, remains high, And we know why, because of their anatomical makeup, they just become vulnerable to acquiring HIV. And additionally, the prevalence of teenage pregnancies, unsafe abortions, sexual and gender-based violence, female genital mutilation, and child marriage remains high in sub-Saharan Africa as compared to other regions. And that said, it remains high in Kenya as well. And yet, conversations around sexual and reproductive health in this country are still a big challenge. I really sometimes sit back and wonder why we still consider conversations around sexual and reproductive health a taboo. Yet, we all witness and see what is happening among our people in relation to the SRH. So this afternoon, we have this amazing panel going to discuss issues around SRH and harmful practices among young people in the communities where they live and what they have seen happen in this country. And to start us off, I want to invite Koinet to share some of the challenges and the issues that are happening among adolescents and young girls in the settings where you have lived and the girls that you have shared with in your line of work and mentorship. So the floor is yours.
Thank you, Melvin. And before I talk about the issues that are affecting young in our community, I would like to thank all the organizers of this function since yesterday. You have provided us with a platform to represent our communities and a platform to also give our asks to the government, and that's a big thing. That's a big way of celebrating girls on this day. And for all the organizers, we say thank you. From the Africa Gender and Media Initiative Trust, thank you for this opportunity. So, as you can tell, as many of us can tell, I come from the Maasai community, and there are a lot of issues that are known, not only in Kenya, but also worldwide, mostly FGM and early marriage, that is from our community. We also have a lot of school dropping out because of the same, because of early marriages, and also because of FGM and the shame and stigma that comes with it. So when girls undergo FGM, in our community, it is part of the culture. Therefore, for someone who has not been circumcised, they are seen as outsiders. We even have names for girls who have not gone under the knife, derogatory names that imply that you're not a woman. Therefore, the understanding in our community is that you have to undergo it to be a woman. Naserian was here and she explained during the first panel that she gave a story of a lady who was underwent FGM after she gave birth. They literally trapped her because in such a setting, there is nothing you can do. You can't run away from it. And if you had run away from it, but then now you're going to the delivery room, then they will catch you there. So you find that there are people who try to run away from these things, but still, in the vulnerable situations that they find themselves in, these things are imposed on them. Another issue that we face is gender-based violence. There is a lot of, I would say, it's also it's punishment for children and for women is considered a part of our culture. And sometimes that punishment comes in the form of beating. And you find that a lot of girls, a lot of partners undergo this either from their parents or from their spouses. So you find that this kind of attitudes boils down from generations. Say if my grandmother used to be beaten by her partner, then my parents will grow up knowing that it's normal for a girl to be beaten. And the boys know it's normal for you to beat your spouse. And therefore, it becomes the norm. But we do understand the mental issues that come from physical assault. And most of the times, the people who undergo this kind of, say, punishments are usually told to be silent. Everyone goes through it. Okay, your husband chased you away from home. You're not the first person. So you find the kind of attitudes that are surrounding these issues that affect young women, such as FGM, such as early marriage. Unaambiwa si wewe wa kwanza. Umefukuzwa nyumbani, si wewe wa kwanza. In fact, umefukuzwa nyumbani, umefanya nini? Ni nini hiyo umefanya? Ndio ukafukuzwa. You're the victim and you're still the one who is blamed. You see? Say someone undergoes sexual assault, for instance. You go to report to the police station. Unaulizwa ulikuwa umevaa nini? You see? And this person is traumatized. Perhaps the person who is even talking to them is a male police officer. We understand that after a case of rape, it's very hard for the victim to see the perpetrator or even to see people who look like the perpetrator. So you find someone has gone to report their case to the police station, but they are attacked again. So these are some of the issues that we face, and the biggest problem to all these issues faced by young women and girls is that there is silence around it. Most people are told to just keep quiet, let it slide, and that is the problem. And it's the reason why I really appreciated the platform, because it gives us a chance to speak out and say the things that are affecting us and get the necessary help. Thank you.
Thank you so much. A clap for point 8. Thank you so much for opening up and sharing some of those issues. And these are huge challenges. As much as they sound so little, but they are very traumatizing. And eventually they have negative implications to both physical and their mental health. And for that reason, I'm just wondering, if you have been in labor, my friend, you are in labor, you want a baby, and someone comes and cuts you and leaves you bleeding. It's sad. Malkia, what are some of the things that can be done or strategies that can be applied to mobilize communities to support ending these harmful practices?
Okay. Hello, everyone. We did not introduce ourselves. My name is Malkia John. They keep saying I'm from the University of Nairobi. And to clarify, I am an alumnus, a recent one. Yes, but I'm still part of the institution. I'm the girl and young women representative in the country network of the She Leads program. I also volunteer with survivors of sexual violence in Kenya in the Starehe sub-county coordination. What could be done? I sat last week in a meeting where we were being disseminated research findings on gender-based violence. It was specifically sexual gender-based violence, but it also included FGM. And one of the research finding was, we had a reduction in the cases of FGM and sexual gender-based violence, like really much, in Samburu and the Maasai community. Not even after all the advocacy we have done, not all the paper placard raising we have done on the streets, but it's when we included the men. And let me tell you, even for, we do understand we exist in a patriarchal society, and especially in places where men give the last words when it comes to issues. And so when the men said, that no, we should not cut our girls. It's when the numbers started decreasing. Because even in most communities in let's say in Africa and specifically Kenya, we do understand that even if we do so much advocacy, the children still go back home and they have to obey the father. And if the father says you need to be cut, you will be cut. And so engaging meaningfully with men and boys as champions for eradication of these harmful practices is really key. Another thing is raising awareness. And how many people know what gender-based violence is? How many people, this is an interactive session, how many people know what gender-based violence is? Do you know 1 in 5 of every woman seated here has experienced gender-based violence? You know, sometimes gender-based violence looks like beating and rape, but do you know that there are other forms? Do you know when you're spanked on the street, when someone catcalls you in the street, that is gender-based violence? There are so many, there's emotional, there's physical, and there's so many variations. And so I would say, because if I'm spanked on the street, can I report that? Can I? What's the evidence, you know? Like, how will I say someone spanked me on the street and you need to acquit, is it acquit? I need to report them. So, could we have mechanisms? Could we be in talk with policy makers? Let's find mechanisms, because sometimes even when you are reporting rape, in my work with survivors of sexual violence, even when we're trying to find evidence, it's really, really hard to present evidence, even if the ordeal is maybe past 72 hours, as we all know. But then, like, there are other things that you do not even have evidence, but you have been violated. So could we work around that? I think Michelle wanted to add on that.
Amazing.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Malkia, for sharing this. I know we are time bound, but Evans, if you allow us 10 more minutes, I will go straight to Michelle, a short introduction of who you are, and then share a few strategies that need to be in place to ensure that young people of all makeup can have access to safe spaces.
Hi everyone, my name is Karaoke Michelle. I'm from the We Lead project under Positive Young Women Voices. I'm very delighted to be here. And when you speak about some of the mechanisms that can be able to be put in place to have our young girls to be safe, why do we need to always talk about keeping the girl child safe? It is just like mandatory, the same way we are supposed to have the boy child being safe. The same way like today is International Girls' Day. We always talk about, we don't need to have a reason. We say we need to do things for girls because of certain reasons. Why don't you always say that we have to do this for boys? Let's just make it mandatory to create safe spaces for girls and women. Like, there's need of very much empowerment and access of information that is very reliable and that is correct to people. Sensitization is highly needed. Let's normalize the talk of protect the girl, not because the girl is a woman or the woman is the foundation of a family or the woman has been given the mandatory laws of taking care of a community. When we want to educate a boy, we don't say let's educate the boy child because of what. But when we talk about matters girls, we always have to need to have a reason to do things for girls. Let's just make it normal. The same way we do things for the boy child, to also do it for the girl child. Also, some of our policies, as Kenya, we have very good policies. We're very good at implementing policies. But do we put these policies and laws into work? We don't. So let's just go back, check back at our policies, make them very much inclusive for the girl child. If you want to create these safe spaces, for how long will you always have to put the girl child to be taken out of the community, to have to be taken to a safe space in order for them to be safe? Yeah.
Amazing. That is awesome. Thank you so much, Michelle, for reminding us that Kenya has very good policies that are never implemented to the latter. And so that is a call to action for our policymakers. If they are in the room, please support our young people by ensuring that the policies in place affecting young people are implemented to the latter. And the last but not least, I have Elizabeth. Elizabeth is one of our beneficiaries at Hope for Kenya Slum Adolescents Initiative, currently undertaking ICT. So Elizabeth, what are some of the innovative and technological ways that we can use to respond to harmful practices?
Thank you, Melvin. My name is Elizabeth Otieno, and I'm from the county of Kisumu, the Lakeside city of Kisumu. And as Melvin has said, I am one of their beneficiaries currently taking a course on ICT in one of the vocational schools in the city of Kisumu. And to your question, one of the innovative ways that we can use through technology to eradicate these harmful practices, which, for example, the GBV, the mental health and FGM, is through the use of platforms like the Facebook, the Twitter, to advocate for the eradication and to create awareness on these traditional harmful practices. And as my fellow friends have highlighted earlier, some of these harmful practices, they are within our communities and they are affecting each one of us from a community level and from a household level. And in my community, there's this tradition that we call to tero, which means to inherit a wife who her husband has died. And this thing is still happening up to now. Many women are suffering from this because it is a forceful practice. A woman is being forced to remarry, if I may say that, to another man from that same household. Maybe for her, she had another choice, or she wants to lea watoto wake peke yake, ama akuna njia nyingine anataka kufanya. Lakini because the custom demands that that is the right of passage, you must be inherited. So it denies the women that voice to decide what they want with their lives. And another one that I want to talk of, before I came for this summit, we were having a conversation with my mom, and a topic came up. In her church, there was this lady that made a testimony, and it touches on the culture of Luos, especially in Siaya County. And she says that there's this custom that when a man dies and alishajenga boma, lakini baada hajalala na ajafungua, tunasema ajafungua boma, ajalala na mwanamke, maybe ni bibi yake ama mwanamke yote. Sasa wanataka ili afungue boma, lazima watafute a random girl, a random woman from somewhere, akuje alale kwa hiyo nyumba na maiti, ili those spirits to go away. You see how these customs there are affecting our families. Yes.
It's traumatizing. When you're addressing harmful practices, you're addressing harmful practice. Hapo hakuna story ingine. And this is normally one of the most interesting topics that never ends. It is sad that we are time bound, but you have listened to our young people. You have listened to their challenges and what needs to be done. We are hopeful that this summit will bear fruit moving forward, especially in terms of policy implementation. Thank you so much, media, for enlightening what these young people are sharing and also for giving us the opportunity to share our challenges. Thank you so much.
I think we can do better than that. 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 Asanteni sana MC Mamboleo. Wakati nikifikiria.
Asante sana, makofi mengi sana kwa mjadala huo. What an amazing conversation. These are the conversations indeed that we must have, because if we don't have this conversation, then who will have them? So ladies and gentlemen, and to our honorable guests, I want to kindly ask that we dance a little bit. We have an amazing group of young girls who yesterday gave us an electrifying performance. Due to public demand, we want to bring them back on stage. Are you ready for Moyote? So mwakilishi wa Gavanare, waziri wetu, gavana wetu, tulikuwa tumemtarajia sana, lakini tunajua unamwakilisha sana. Mama wa county, na bila shaka vice chancellor wetu Kiama. Tuko na burudani ambayo inakuja sasa hivi. Hii ni burudani ambayo ni burudani imekwenda shule. Mko tayari ama mko tayari? Wacha nisikie kelele. Make some noise for Moyote. Ndio hao makofi wakiingia jamani. Makofi. Asante sana. Jamani, hao ndio makofi mnapatia watoto hawa. Ngoja pole ngoja haya tulia. DJ shikilia. So asante sana. So ladies and gentlemen, this group is from an amazing organization called Moyote. They are adolescent girls and young women from an organization which works on issues to do with sexual health and HIV and AIDS. Na leo tunataka kuwapatia nafasi hii kabambe watuburudishe. Mko tayari ama hamko tayari? Asante sana ladies and gentlemen. DJ, when you're ready.
Kaivava. Weko. Nyambura oka mwendo asiti wangoro. Nyambura oka nowe murata wakwa wangoro. Nyambura gyo atirero ne mesiria. Weko. Okay. Aganes chongo, agana swere, aganes indubutwa. Yanza welinde mama wechunge nenda banduba usaba. Yanza welinde mama wechunge nenda banduba tama. Yanza uninde na njelele titi kalundo. Yanza uninde na njelele titi kalundo. Faida omwana inyanya, omwana mabele, omwana indumbu. Yanzo mudara mukato, mudara mupango, mudara mubwaba. Tumisa kubezimu, unange kuwebindu. Tumisa kubezimu, unange kuwebindu. Anyilenda kulenga mwitala, na mapalo kanyasinga. Anyilenda kulenga mwitala.
Makofi mengi jamani, makofi. Wanamchukua Vice Chancellor, wanamchukua Mama County na wanamchukua waziri. DJ twende kazi.
Sasa ina bamba John hii.
Wacha watuonyeshe zilizopendwa sasa.
Tutombe.
Wote tusimame tujaribu kucheza. Tusimame. Asante sana. Asante.
Dona zidi kuwakera. Wakipunguza machungu, roho zao za majungu.
Makofi mengi sana kwao. Jamani makofi. Mbona tusiwape igwe? Tuwape igwe. Waendelee ama wasiendelee? Waendelee ama wasiendelee? Sawa, kwa sababu ya muda watarudi baadaye. Makofi mengi sana kwao.
Asanteni sana.
Mimi ningeulizwa wangeendelea, lakini kwa sababu ya muda we will kindly move on. Thank you so much. A round of applause to Moyote as they leave the stage. Thank you. Mama County, naona bado uko vizuri sana. Ako vizuri sana, hongera sana. Thank you so much. So ladies and gentlemen, right about now, because of time, I want to kindly move on swiftly, and due to protocol, I want to task this responsibility to the representative of the Office of the President, the Assistant County Commissioner, Madam Phyllis to move on with the program. Jamani, makofi mengi sana kwa Assistant County Commissioner Madam Phyllis ambaye ataendelea na ratiba hii. Kama yupo, kwa heshima nyingi sana ni muombe afike hapa tafadhali. Tukiendelea na tukimsubiri, ndazidi kusema ya kwamba tuko vizuri sana kwenye mitandao ya kijamii. Shughuli hii nzima inarushwa kwenye mitandao yetu ya kijamii. Tuko live kwenye ukurasa wa Stretchers Youth Organization, kikundi ambacho kimejitolea ima faima kuhakikisha kwamba Girl Summit ya mwaka 2023 iko wazi. Jamani, Girl Summit 2023 oye! Siski, Girl Summit 2023 oye! Sauti iko chini mpaka madam afike hapa. Girl Summit 2023 oye! Asante sana, karibu sana Madam Assistant County Commissioner. Naona analetwa na kijana machachari, mwakilishi wa shirika hili. Asante sana. Kama bado hajafika hapa, tuko na mambo mengi sana. Ndio huyu bila shaka. Bila shaka naambiwa kuna marekebisho kidogo, na ambaye atachukua programu hii ni Chief Officer katika kaunti ya Nairobi katika idara ya jinsia. Mbona tusipige makofi mengi sana? Makofi mengi. Karibu sana.
Good afternoon. My name is Mariam Dahir, County Chief Officer, Gender and Inclusivity. Been here earlier and I introduced myself. Without wasting time, because we are in Nairobi University, we'll have to be welcomed by them first, and therefore at this juncture I wish to welcome Professor Paul Kamau, an associate researcher, so to speak, to come forward here. He will be welcome in the VC thereafter. Karibu sana.
Thank you very much, Madam Miriam. Our chief guest, Honorable Esther Passaris, our Vice Chancellor, all protocols observed. Good afternoon. Yes, my name is Paul Kamau. I'm here representing the Institute for Development Studies that has partnered with the Nairobi City County Government in holding this event at the University of Nairobi. We could not be more humbled than this. We want to really on onset appreciate the support from University of Nairobi management for the last 2 days that this event has been happening. I would like to preempt what has been going on. I know it's been an eventful 2 days, and we're getting to the climax of our summit. This year's theme being engage, inspire, and call to action. So ideas, and again, apologies from our director, Professor Karut Kanyinga, who is on travel, but we are happy to welcome you all to this event and to say that Institute for Development Studies recognizes and identifies with the girl child, not only in terms of the teaching, in terms of research, but also mainstreaming in line with the University of Nairobi policy. This year, the International Day of the Girl Child is a global platform, it's a global event. We understand that it's being celebrated not only in Nairobi, in all 47 counties, and indeed in all countries of the world. When you look at the UNICEF, which is spearheading this process, is that investing in girls' rights, our leadership, our well-being, and therefore calling upon all of us as stakeholders to be upfront in terms of supporting this cause and movement. There are a range of movements and actions that curtail girls' and women's rights and roll back progress on gender equality, which sometimes have a great adverse effect on girls' well-being. So this call for action from all of us. Just to mention, because again, I know our Vice Chancellor will be coming here to give more insight in terms of the university-wide policies and activities relating to promoting a girl child in the university. I would like to say that the Institute for Development Studies, which is one of the premier research institutes not only in the university, but in larger part of this continent, has not been left behind. We do train, we do research, we do educate. So even as we're looking for opportunity for the girl child, University of Nairobi and IDS is a place to be. Just to mention but a few, is that we train in Masters in Development Studies. We train in our program that is focused on young professional called Army Training, which is really a good program that combines learning and working. We also do have training at PhD level in order to build capacity for policy dialogue. We work very closely with our partners, and we're very happy that this opportunity is strengthening our relationship with the city county government of Nairobi. Among the research that we're doing, just to mention, is that currently we are undertaking a research on how we can promote women leadership in the university, at the institutions of higher learning. This project is just kick-started now, and we hope to see what is the position, not only of a girl child, but of women in our society, again in line with the theme of this summit. We also engaged in Afrobarometer work that is done in 39 countries in Africa, and the issues of youth and gender are at our focal point. So these again profiles, we've been releasing media articles, journals to inform the position of a girl child in Africa. We have a research that we've been conducting on important issues affecting adolescents and young people, especially on matters of sexual and reproductive health services, which again our data shows they are largely unavailable. This has been spoken to, been addressed, and I believe that in our communique, this is one of the issues that are going to call or we'll be asking for action to promote. In terms of mobility, I know we all face challenges when it comes to movement. Again, IDS has not been left behind in terms of understanding challenges that people with different abilities, especially the young people who we all been there, we use public transport, how safe it can be. The panel that has just been here was talking about being bullied in the streets, right? What are we doing about it? Because we have to walk in congested areas. How do we work on this? So again, this research that is collaborative between IDS and VLEV is looking at mobility in Africa. It's an African-wide research, and very soon we'll be inviting you for a national dialogue on safety, especially for young people. Another project or research that IDS has been taking is on child labor. We did this together with ILO, and our findings do show that a girl child is more likely to be engaged in child labor compared to a boy child. That when decisions are to be made, we want to take one of the child to school, the other one to work, a girl child becomes the victim in that case. In terms of mental health, again, a panel that was here, IDS and Arua is working in promoting mental health, especially among the adolescents and young people, including psychosocial well-being. Again, a lot of interesting findings coming out of this research that young people, the adolescents, and especially the girls, are much disadvantaged when it comes to accessing mental health, when it comes to getting social protection, and even in getting their footing in labor market. So as we sit here to listen to the communique and our guest, we want just to say that there's a lot that has been done, but still a lot needs to be addressed. One, that we need to develop research that focuses purely on girl child. Not to mention that even boy child, over time, they're becoming more disadvantaged. But this being a girl child day, we want to focus on that. Build skills and capacity of girl child to make them more competitive and able to access opportunities like any other child in this country. We need to promote inclusion of all children in all spheres of life, in decision making at household level, in our institutions, in our learning institutions, and also in political spheres of this country. That's the only way we can inspire and promote well-being of the girl child. Finally, as we sit here and deliberate on many issues, we need to look at what are the barriers. How do these barriers hinder growth and well-being of a girl child? So we have a long way to go. We have made some strides, but it's only in a forum like this where we can make our voices be more heard. So it's now my pleasure and privilege to welcome our Vice Chancellor to come over and give his remarks. And we apologize for running late. We know you are ready from 12 o'clock, but we say we will try to do the best with what we have. Thank you very, very much, Madam Miriam. I think that's my task this afternoon. Thank you.
Makofi mengi sana kwa Vice Chancellor wa Chuo Kikuu cha Nairobi, Bwana Kiama. Makofi mengi tafadhali kwa heshima nyingi sana. Karibu sana.
Karibu.
Yes, good afternoon, everyone. Yes, I'm happy to see you here, gathered on this day of Girls Summit. It's an important day for all of us. And I want to acknowledge all of you who have come because you consider this important. In particular, I want to notice the presence of woman Nairobi, Esther Passaris. Yeah. I want to notice the presence of Dr. Anastasia Nyalita, CEC, representing Governor Nairobi. And also Mariam the Hill. And all of you, important guests here. This is an important subject. I was just looking back even before I did the speech that in the countries have moved. People are moving. So in this country, we must also move. And somebody was asking, maybe we are preaching here to the converted. Because what is happening in the rural areas, that is what Anastasia was asking. Could we be preaching to the converted? How do we ensure that this message gets to the village? Some of the things that were being said here about spouses being beaten, etc. And I mentioned those older men or grandfathers used to do this as if it is a requirement. And we are moved from there here in Nairobi. I don't know how it is in the rural areas. I was just checking, for example, in Switzerland, where I went to school, that women started voting in 1971. 1971 is when women started voting. Before that, they could not vote. Just the other day, some of us were already born by then. And they had to do a referendum to agree that women can vote. They had tried it earlier in 59, they failed. 71, they succeeded. But one canton still said women should not vote. Because why should they, and the men have already voted? So in 1990, their Supreme Court is the one that which ruled that women should vote. And you know, I was following the issue of one of the young ones here who was saying, why should we, when women have to do something, we have to look for a reason? Yeah. Look for a reason. Why? And the others, there was no reason to look for why people should vote. Yeah. But then the Supreme Court had said, no, we are not going to look all those. Even women must vote. Yeah. Even if all of you don't agree, the women must vote. And then there was said there that one of them was saying, if you are asked to leave your house, then people ask, why? What did you do? Today, in Switzerland, because I went to train there, it is not the women who leave the house if there is trouble and a quarrel. Yeah. It is the men now who leave. Yeah. So these things are possible. Yeah. Because the woman, the wife will just call the police and they say, we are having trouble here and we are not able to sleep because, and then the police will just call you and say, what has happened? You leave the house and the matter can be solved tomorrow. Yeah. And if you fail to do so, then the police will come to get you or help you to get out of the house. And then you have to pay the bill later because they will take you to a hotel, they use fuel for transport. So you better just move. So I'm just saying that even where we are as a country, others are moved, and there's a possibility of moving to that level. I was in China recently and I saw in many places you find women and very few men, very active and being in charge of various things. And I asked, why is it so? And the women have been, and the girl child has been very empowered. Very empowered. Obviously, we had another session here sometimes earlier this year where we were talking also about the boy child. So we cannot forget about the boy child as well. You, as young girls, you are actually the future leaders of our world, of our country, Kenya. I want to welcome you all here in this prestigious hall, the Taifa Hall, where you are. We have had even presidents come here to address students and the other participants in this. It's very symbolic for all of us. When you say you are in Taifa Hall, somebody will know that you are somewhere. We are here to celebrate the achievement and the potential of our girls, to celebrate your achievement and your empowerment. This university, we have over 45,000 young men and women, and about half of them is girls. So we are not doing so badly. And this, therefore, is a very important place to meet to discuss such an agenda, which we are thinking, how do we empower or give hope to our girls and therefore to our society? If you follow our graduations, you will notice that many times we have girls emerging as the best, particularly in engineering. Yeah. So we are starting to get girls outperforming boys, even engineering. And that is something we also have to watch. Yeah. As I said, we have to look at both boys and girls. Yeah. I saw in some places, some programs in Europe where FETS, the veterinary program, where you would have maybe 5 boys and 95 girls. Yeah. But here the case is about maybe 20. When I went to school, it would be like 10 girls and 90 boys. Yeah. But in many places it has started to change because of this empowerment. I'm just saying there to show that the road we are traveling, even as we discuss the things we are discussing here, others have trodden, others have walked that road, that it is possible. It is not just stories here, we are saying. It is possible to ensure that girls, yourself, who are seated here, and those who are not here, to take charge. Education is a key that unlocks numerous opportunities, enabling girls to fulfill their dreams and aspirations. Even as we talk this, and this has been shared, we must address the pervasive issue of gender-based violence, and we must be deliberate about this because this continues to plague our society. It is disheartening to see that many girls across the world still face various forms of violence, such as child marriage, and that was mentioned, female genital mutilation, sexual abuse, and discrimination. I remember a friend of mine explaining, he comes from a community where that female genital mutilation is practiced, and he took the sister and stayed with the sister in his house to rescue her from that practice. And actually the mother came for the daughter. Yeah. So we are talking about just men practicing this. The mother came for the daughter and said, no. You cannot do this. You must allow, welcome CS Namwamba.
Makofi mengi kwa waziri Ababu Namwamba. Makofi. Karibu sana waziri.
Yes, thank you very much for joining us here. And the mother said, no, we cannot allow. You have to release my daughter to come and go through this process, because if they don't go through this process, then there will be this problem and that problem. So we must also, even as we are talking about addressing men, we also address also our elder sisters and our mothers, and we ensure that we are all together on these issues that we need to deal. We cannot afford to be silent on this matter. We must raise our voices and advocate for the rights of the girl and work towards creating a safe and secure environment for every girl. Today, on International Girl Child Day, let us also reflect on the achievement of our girls. We have seen remarkable example of girl breaking stereotypes, excelling in academic fields, and becoming leaders in the various domains. Their accomplishment serve as a testament for their resilience, determination, and ability to overcome even the toughest of challenges. We must celebrate these achievements and use them as an inspiration for other girls. By showcasing these success stories, we can encourage more girls to dream big, work hard, and believe in themselves. We must also provide them with the necessary support and mentorship to help them achieve their goals. This institution, the University of Nairobi, has always been at the forefront of promoting gender equality and empowering our girls. We have implemented various initiatives and policies that ensure their safety, well-being, and academic success. However, we still have to do much more. On this International Girl Child Day, let us make a pledge to do more. Let us commit to creating an environment that values and respects every girl, where their voices are heard and their opinions are valued. Let us strive to provide them with the equal opportunities, regardless of their background or circumstances. And let us work towards eliminating all forms of discrimination and violence. I would like to express my heartfelt appreciation to all the girls who are present here today. You are the future leaders, innovators, and change makers of our world. Believe in yourself, dream big, and never be afraid to challenge the norms and break the glass ceiling. The glass ceiling, we must break it. We are here to support you, guide you, and provide you with the resources and opportunities you need to succeed. And you shall succeed. God bless you.
Makofi mengi sana kwa Profesa Kiama, Vice Chancellor wa Chuo Kikuu cha Nairobi.
Thank you so much, Vice Chancellor. We really feel at home. And of course, we cannot overemphasize the role you played in planning for this day. We are really grateful. And at this juncture, I wish to invite a representative from the State Department of Gender, Pamela. Welcome.
Thank you. The University of Nairobi, BC, Professor Kiamo. The Woman Representative, Nairobi County, Woman Representative, Nairobi County, Honorable Esther Passaris. The CEC Gender, the CS for Youth, Affairs and Sport. All protocols observed. Good morning. Good morning. Good afternoon, sorry. So my name is Pamela Karemi. I work with the State Department for Gender and Affirmative Action. And I'm here, I'm very privileged to be here this afternoon. Thank you so much, all of you, for making it here. And thank you, our girls, because you are our guests today. This is your day. Are you happy? Yes, I remember yesterday I told you being here in this university should be encouragement enough that you need to think beyond where you are, because this year's theme is, what is the year's theme for the International Day of the Girl Child 2023? Beautiful. So then it starts with even how you think, and also you being here should be a privilege. I said yesterday that in the past we've been having these activities in the communities, and we've been having even our woman rep, she has been our champion every other year. But you being here should be really, you should feel good. And we say that you should walk around this university and start envisioning yourself being here. Wangapi walitembea huku jana? How many took a round of, getting to know the university? You should do that before you leave. So I wish just to appreciate the support so far that we've received from Nairobi County, from the Women Reps Office, and even from the University of Nairobi. And the State Department for Gender is committed towards promoting gender equality and women's empowerment through various policies and legal frameworks that we've put in place. And again, yesterday as we were doing the breakout sessions, we challenged you to keep yourself abreast with the policy framework, because government operates on a policy framework. There are many rights that are enshrined in the Constitution, in the policies that we have, and you need to start participating even in the review of those policies so that your voices can be input in those policies. So as we celebrate this day, I'm very delighted by the partnerships that we have been able to forge, and also the fact that we are adding to the voice that has been there. So when you go back to your community, when you go back to your county, because we have girls from other counties here, please continue this conversation so that we can continue empowering the girl, the boy, the woman, and the man, because nowadays we have moved to inclusion, because we've realized speaking about gender equality alone will not get us any far. So we also want to carry the boy child along so that we can be able to break the barriers and also the socio-cultural, barriers that we've been facing. So with those few remarks, I wish to thank all of you and to say thank you so much. Also, University of Nairobi for hosting us. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much, Pamela. And without wasting time, I wish to take this opportunity to welcome the representative from the Office of the County Commissioner. If we have you here, please. Karibu.
Asante sana, Madam Miriam. Good afternoon. My name is Ongere Phyllis. I am an Assistant County Commissioner at the County Commissioner's Office. I'm here to represent Madam Susan Waweru, our County Commissioner Nairobi, who would not be able to make it today. I would like to appreciate that we all were able to make it to this event. As we all know, the day acknowledges the importance of power and potential of adolescent girls by encouraging opening of more opportunities. At the same time, we are able to commemorate these days, and we are supposed to eliminate gender-based challenges that girls face around the world. The gender-based challenges that the girl child has been facing in all the world or in our counties, in our society, include teen pregnancies, early marriages, gender-based violence, and violence and discrimination. I would like to say that I know we have moved from where we are now. We have been able to include women in most sectors. In every sector, we can be able to recognize women who are there, but I still believe in every sector that we have a role as individuals to support the girl child, and in so doing, we include the boy child to be able to make society a better place. When we were talking about gender-based violence, I remember there was an issue that when it comes to reporting those cases, sometimes you realize that we have an issue on dealing with them. But I'm here to let you know that in our police stations, we do have gender desks. Although I may say we are not yet at 100%, but we are somewhere. And we still believe that we'll be able to make it 100 at some point. Even if it's not today, we all have to hope that things will get much more better. And I was happy, since I came in the morning, I realized that as we were getting the panel discussions, in creating awareness for the girl child and world girl child issues, I realized that the panelists were saying that we are supposed to be able to create awareness online. I believe that is the best place that you can be able to get the youth. Because in my line of work, where we work with the county commission and other officers in the field, we do hold barazas, but we realize that in the barazas, unless you target the youth, is when you will be able to get them. But when we do it online, with other partners, we'll be able to reach the girl child or the young people. And I'm so happy about that. And without taking much time, I'll be able to now say thank you. And I'm happy to be here because I was in this hall, let's say like a decade ago, and I'm happy to be back here again. Thank you.
Just before I call the next speaker, I wish to recognize the presence of our CS for Youth and Sports, Mr. Mwamba. Karibu sana, we are really honored by your presence. Karibu sana. I wish to welcome my colleague Chief Officer, Lydia Mathia. Lydia is a Chief Officer, Public Participation, Communication and Service at Nairobi City County. She has worked with women and girls for a very long time, and she's really passionate about matters gender and girl child empowerment. I'll give her a minute. Yeah, karibu. Thank you, Dahir. Habari yenu? Mnajua Chief Officer ni nini? Amjui? Okay. At the national government, you have cabinet secretaries and principal secretaries. Do you know those ones? Cabinet secretaries, such as we have Waziri Ababu na Mwamba, si ndio? Na kuna PS wake. Haya, kwa county, kuna kuanga na CEC, ndiye waziri. Like we have our CEC for public participation. And then chief officer, ndiye anakuanga PS wake. So mimi na Dahir ni ma PS kwa county government. Mumelewa? So my name is Lydia Mathia. I'm chief officer in charge of administration and public participation. I'm very excited to be back here. I'm a graduate of this university, the one and only. And it's great to see this level of participation at this event, paying attention. I would like to just share with you that the future is bright. That the future is bright. I know right now there are very many challenges we are facing. I remember when I used to come to class here, and I used to stay at Stella Winja initially, and Hall 13, and the other one is called what? Box. Nani wanaishi Box? Amuko Box? Muko wapi? Hall 13? Oh, you renamed them. When I used to, you have to cross Uhuru Highway to come to class from the hostels. And I would stand there because the traffic is very heavy. And I would see ladies in cars driving. And I would just wonder how incredible these women are to afford to have vehicles and to have the confidence to drive on Uhuru Highway, and they just looked awesome to me. And my aspiration at that point was just like, if one day I could just have a car and drive it on Uhuru Highway, I'll have reached where I was meant to go. Of course, I have driven for many years now, but those small little dreams, and as you achieve them step by step, you will realize that God always had your hand, the future was always bright, and you are always going to make it. So girls, keep your dreams, keep your desires, they will come true. In the Bible it says God gives you, what does it say? God gives you the desires of? God gives you the desires of your heart. So you have to first desire something with all your heart, and it will be granted unto you. I promise you. Sawa sawa. Asanteni sana na Mungu awabariki.
Tunaendelea vizuri sana, ni awamu ya 5 kabisa ya Girls Summit mwaka huu, ni mwaka 2023. Tuko hapa moja kwa moja live kwenye kituo muhimu sana, chuo kikuu cha Nairobi.
Okay. So these programs actually started yesterday, and we had a whole day here. We had breakout sessions where there were discussions of so many themes and topics, and therefore we have we've got some girls here that will be able to give us a memorandum. Then after that, we'll be able to call our very important guests to, even as they speak, respond to some of the issues that will be raised by the girls. So I want to welcome the girls on stage. Please take as short time as possible so that we can have ample time from our leaders.
Wapi makofi hao wasichana wakati wanapokuja, wapi makofi yao, floni yao waweze sasa kutuwakilisha kisawasawa. Karibu Josephine.
Asante sana.
The whole team.
Office of the Governor, Nairobi City County, Office of Gender Affairs, Office of Youth and Sports, Office of Nairobi City Women County, the Vice Chancellor, University of Nairobi, and all protocols observed. Good afternoon, all. My name is Josephine Kavata from African Women Global Network. And one unique thing about me is that I'm proud to be a young mother. And that's all. I would like to take you through the Girls Summit 2023 Youth Communique. So, yesterday we had the breakout session, and in those breakout sessions, we discussed 6 thematic areas. So, I'll take you through one by one. Thematic area 1, effects of climate change in access to sexual, reproductive, health and rights. Thematic area 2, women's empowerment, education and leadership. Thematic area 3, mental health awareness, wellness, among girls and women. Thematic area 4, child online safety and protection. Thematic area 5, addressing harmful practices, including gender-based violence, teenage pregnancies, female genital mutilation, and early marriages. Thematic area 6, adolescent SRHR programming and funding past COVID-19. So, in those 6 thematic areas, these were the challenges that were noted: increased gender-based violence, increased teenage pregnancies, increased early marriages, increased HIV and AIDS and sexually transmitted infections, no sanitary towels, limited awareness on existing policies, among other challenges. Thank you for listening. I would like to hand over to my colleagues.
Makofi kwa engineer huyo. Huyo ni engineer. Makofi mengi.
All protocol observed. My name is Consulate Alois Nyamuhudi. You can call me First Lady, that's how I call myself. I'm 21 years old. I come from Dandora, and I'm here under USAID Tumikia Mtoto World Vision, and I'm a beneficiary from World Vision, trained as a plumber, and I'm so proud to be a plumber. And here, I'm here to read some of the recommendations, acts that we came across. The first recommendation is that we recommend this recommendation that I am going to read to the Nairobi City County. The first recommendation is that we recommend the Nairobi City County to adopt gender transformative approaches in public and private infrastructures development that will ensure county plans and budgets are gender responsive and inclusive. The second recommendation is that we recommend the Nairobi City County to localize and publicly conduct robust awareness on national policies and child online safety, data protection and security, and fast-track adoption of the existing policies. The third recommendation is that the county to fast-track the attachment of the draft Nairobi City Youth Policy 2022. The fourth recommendation is that the Nairobi City County to strengthen gender-based violence pathways and facilities access to justice. And the last recommendation to the Nairobi City County is that the county government to conduct a survey to establish the extent of profilation of inappropriate content in the county and identify sites that host the content for action to be taken from a point of evidence. And I also have a question to ask to the Nairobi City County, that what opportunities do you have to the Nairobi County for us, whereby we are being trained as plumbers, and we also have other girls who are trained as electricians. So my ask was, what opportunity do you have for us? Like for me here, I also have my plumbing tools. So are there any opportunities and employment for girls as us? Thank you.
Makofi mengi sana kwake tena.
Okay, thank you for this opportunity. My name is Angela Gatiri. I'm from Mukuru, and I'm under African Women Global Network, and I'm here to represent our recommendation for the national government. We recommended ring fencing and investing in the prevention of mental health promoters, including psychological, psychiatrists for public school and public health facilities. We propose for establishment for a committee with the Ministry of Public Service, Gender and Affirmative Action to oversee the implementation of the gender-related policies touching on our women, education, women empowerment, women leadership, and women governance. Integrate CRH into climate adaptation plans. Government should incorporate sexual reproductive health consideration into their climate adaptation and disaster response plans. This includes ensuring the CRH services and supplies are readily available during and after climate-related disasters. Enforcing gender equal laws and policies ensures that existing laws, including the 2 and the 3rd gender rule and policies related to gender equality, anti-discrimination, and women's rights are enforced effectively. So I have a question for the government. As I said, my name is Angela Gatiri. I'm a proud young mother of 1 son, and I'm under African Woman Global Network. So I have a brief story about my life. I'm not that privileged enough. Actually, I'm nervous. I've never stand in a podium like this, facing our government. So I came from the slums, and I'm privileged enough from our family. I'm the only girl who went to Form 4. I'm the only girl who finished school into Form 4. I got a scholarship under Dreams. I'm a dream girl, and they offered me a course for only 3 months. And I wanted to learn more about catering. So after they gave me that little amount of knowledge, but you know, knowledge is power. So hata kama walinipatia kidogo, they just left me in the streets. Nona. I'm hustling for my son. I do mere jobs, napata mia per day. I provide for my mom, I provide for my son, I provide for my brother, and I'm only 19. Sikupenda kwangu to be like this, but I know everything one day itabadilika. So, in the slums, many girls, like I can say like me, your privilege ya kusoma sana sikuwaipata. And if nikiweza patiwa, neza tamani kuendelea. So my question is, how can the government, both national and local, ensure that the child mothers, school dropouts are reintegrated into a higher learning on vocational courses? Thank you.
But just 2 minutes, right? Okay. I have today's the Girls Summit 2023 for the national government. For the youth commitment, we commit to advocate for increasing meaningful youth represented and participate at all levels for decisions-making process. We commit to supporting the development of e-learning social media platforms on reproductive health education using informative means of engage a wide array of populations. We commit to raising awareness on health and well-being for the youth through different approaches, thus contributing in the improved health outcomes for the youth in the country. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Jovelyn from Lake Organization. We commit to raise awareness on health and well-being for the youth through different approaches that contributing to improve health outcomes from youth in the country. We commit to engaging all men and boys in our communities and networks to learn about gender-based violence and to champion for equal rights and roles for men and women inside and outside the households.
All protocols observed. I'm Gloria Mumboa from Lake Organization. This is the Girls Summit to the national government. We commit to continue advancing advocacy issues in policies, budget and resource allocation, and human resource on sexual reproductive health, mental health, and climate change adoption for adolescents and youth in all their diversities and people with disabilities. We commit to continuously empower the adolescents and youth on online safety and protection in prevention on online child prostitution, cybercrimes, online child trafficking, among other online challenges. We commit to advocate for gender-responsive budgeting that will ensure young women and girls' needs are addressed.
Hi everyone, my name is Mary Wasemba from the Stretchers Youth Organization. The Girls Summit 2023 Youth Commitment. We the youth commit to continuously empower other adolescents and youth on online safety and protection in prevention of online child prostitution, cybercrimes, online child trafficking, among other online challenges. We commit to advocate for gender-responsive budgeting that will ensure young women's and girls' needs are addressed. We commit to advocate for an inclusive civic education on existing policies, legislation to champion child online safety, data protection, and security for the adolescents and young women. We commit to continuously advocate for youth and stakeholder viewer on sexual reproduction health to be included in the final draft of sexual reproductive health policies. Thank you.
Hi everyone, I'm Monica Kaugi from We Lead Project, and I'm here to represent the Girls Summit 2023 Youth Commitment. We commit continuously to encourage community intergeneral dialogues and progressive social development. We commit to continue holding targeted awareness campaigns on adolescent and youth people concerns. We commit to continuously create awareness on climate change for climate adoption and resilience. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And it's now my humble pleasure to welcome our policymakers, our leaders, including our Mama County, the county women rep, to come forward and receive this communique officially from our girls.
Asante sana.
Yeah.
Makofi mengi sana kuwakaribisha washikadau muhimu katika ngazi ya serikali. Makofi jamani hadi wafike kwenye jukwaa hii. Makofi. Karibu sana waziri wa masuala ya vijana na michezo, Mheshimiwa Babu na Mwamba, Profesa Kiama, Vice Chancellor wa Chuo Kikuu cha Nairobi, na waziri kutoka kaunti ya Nairobi. Makofi mengi tena. Naomba kwa heshima tutoe hii Evans tafadhali.
Thank you so much, and these are the commitments that we as young people are making, and we will hold ourselves accountable. Thank you so much. My name is Wangari Kenyanjui. I'm a student at the University of Nairobi from the Faculty of Health Sciences.
Makofi wanapokabidhi rasmi. Makofi. Jamani, nataka kusikia viva wasichana viva, mnasema viva. Viva wasichana viva. Sauti iko chini. Viva wasichana viva.
Viva.
Hongereni sana. Asante, imekabidhiwa rasmi mawasilisho ambayo yalikuwa ya mazungumzo ya jana. Asante sana Mheshimiwa Waziri. Asante sana Profesa Kiama. Asante sana Mama County Esther Passaris. Asante sana waziri katika kaunti ya Nairobi. Ama kweli mawasilisho yamefika, hayajafika? Yafanyiwe kazi, yasifanyiwe kazi? Asanteni sana wageni wetu wa heshima. Nairudisha kwa Chief Officer. Karibu.
Okay. And at this juncture, I wish to invite Mama County Honorable Esther Passaris, our county MP, forward for her remarks, please.
Na kwa shangwe, vifijo, makofi. Wapi jamani, makofi mengi sana kwa mwakilishi wa kina mama kaunti ya Nairobi, Mheshimiwa Esther Passaris. Makofi. Makofi. Karibu sana.
Okay, that's called being hijacked. Wow, how are the girls doing? Are there any he for she's here, or is it strictly girls? Can I have the he for she's stand up? Let me understand where they are. Any? It's a girls' summit. Okay, we've at the back there. Just a few. Okay. All right, so CS, Youth Affairs and Sports, Professor, the VC for University of Nairobi, my sister, Dr. Anastasia, Waziri at the county, inclusivity, customer service, and public participation. The representative from the County Commissioner's Office, Pamela from Ministry of Gender, who also sits in our GAF committee. All other protocols observed, and our young girls. So first, let me start by congratulating you on being here today. You know you're chosen for being here today to celebrate International Day for the Girl Child. So I want to ask a few questions. How many of you are from Nairobi? Put your hands up. All right, so everybody's from Nairobi, yeah? So, okay, all right. So how many are from different counties? Mombasa? Yeah, I figured Mombasa is here. Which other counties here? Siaya? Where? Isiolo? Meru? Okay, so I hope that you are feeling welcomed in the county of Nairobi. As Mama County, I want to welcome you, but I've seen there's so many girls here, so I hope you all feel welcomed. So the first thing I want to say is I'm very proud of all of you for the participation that you've taken and the areas that you have seen as challenging. I'm going to ask another question. I know we had a 19-year-old girl here who says she's a proud mama of a young child from Dandora, right? And when she was walking down the steps, I said to her, I said, please, don't be in a hurry to have baby number 2. Okay? And the reason I said that is because a lot of the children that we have today, and one of the topics that you talked about was teenage pregnancies, a lot of the children that we have today are becoming mothers. In fact, that is a very big concern of even His Excellency, the President. When we met him as women reps, he told us, can you please talk to the girls? Tell them not to get pregnant. Tell them we are investing in their education. Tell them we want them to study so that they can actually be able to sustain themselves and their families. You know, life works this way. I was once a young girl just like you. and I was looked after by my mother. And my mother was also a young girl, and she was looked after by her mother. All right? Then after some time, the tables change. Now the girl starts looking after the mother. So one of the things that you're going to have as your responsibility as you grow older is you're going to be there to look after your mom, your dad, maybe some of your sisters. Maybe in your family you'll end up with children that are disabled. Maybe you'll end up with children that have mental health issues, all right? And you, or other medical conditions, and you will find that you will have to look after them. So when we say that you have to plan pregnancies, it's because you have to look at your overall livelihood. And then you know, what do I want to do with my life? Okay? Some of you have been had the privilege of being put in programs by World Vision, and you've studied certain skills. I heard one saying, I'm a plumber, and as she was walking down, I asked her, how is business? She told me, iko chini sana. So that is the condition that we find ourselves in, and we need to figure out how we make sure that we connect you. But one of the biggest problems we have in that service industry is the quality of service that is provided. I mean, if you want to be a good plumber, you have to rely on the word of mouth. So when you're sent somewhere to do a job, you do it well so that you can get a reference for the next person. But let's get to teenage pregnancies. During the pandemic, over 300,000 young girls under the age of 18 became pregnant. Some of them were defiled. Some of them were just being, being sexual when they're not supposed to be sexual, because under the age of 18, you really are supposed to be focusing on other things, not sex. You have a long, long time ahead of you to have sex, to have friends, to get children. You should start at the age of 18. I had my child at the age of 32. I'm now a grandmother. My daughter, 27, had her first child, all right? I'm going to be 60 next year, all right? I have 2 children. I planned to have 2. One of my house girls had 7. Why? Because her husband, who has multiple wives and girlfriends, wanted a son, because they were all trying to get some of that piece of land he has. I want each and every one of you here to know that you can buy yourselves a parcel of land. You don't need to have a child for a man and trying to give him a son, and you end up with 7 girls and 1 boy to be able to get a small parcel of land. So the first thing I want you to know as the girls is you need to feel empowered. You need to be able to provide for yourself, plan your child. The biggest crisis we have right now is not just teenage pregnancies, is family planning. You have a girl at the age of 24 and she has probably 5 children. The first one came at 13, defilement. After that, the second one maybe at 16. After that, at 18, 21, 22, 24, continuously giving birth. As government, we're trying as much as possible to make sure we have commodities for family planning. And we also need to find laws where we can protect the child who's already been defiled, has understood what sex is, and then people in the community take advantage of that child and say, continue. You know, she's already not a young girl now, she's had a baby, so we can enjoy her. A lot of girls, when they've had the first child, when they meet another man, they think, this man, if I give him a child, he will stay and look after my other child. And this one, if I give him a child, he will stay. So we have single mothers with 5 or 6 children from different men. Is that what you want, my young girls? You want to have a child because you're ready to have a child. You can provide for that child on your own. You can provide for your parents. You can provide for your siblings if they need you. All right? So be conscious of the fact that when you have sex, the end result is a child. all right? And if you're not having protected sex, then you can have HIV and other STDs. It's not just HIV. And it's really a concern of government right now to see the growing numbers of HIV, which is happening between the ages of 15 and 25. Increased numbers of HIV. There used to be a thing, know your status. Today, nobody cares. I hear people saying cancer inaua watu zaidi ya HIV. HIV iko na dawa. But let me tell you, you don't want to spend the rest of your life taking medicines every day to stay alive. Huh? So, and you don't want to also spread it, because there's also this thing that nilipewa so nitapeana. Okay? So I want you to understand that you are in this world to live your best life. And if God gives you an extra day to live like you have today, many didn't see today. Do you know that? Many bodies ended up in the mortuary yesterday, isn't it? You saw today, and hopefully you'll see tomorrow. So I need you to really be conscious of what you want. And if you don't plan it, you will not attain it. If you don't think it, you will not be able to achieve it. So whatever it is that you desire, keep a little diary and write it down. If it's written, it can be done. It can be accomplished. On the area of GBV, we're building a safe house in Nairobi. We're trying to make sure the laws are strengthened. We're trying to make sure the police are educated. But we also want young girls to learn self-defense and to speak out. Your first self-defense is your mouth. When you're being attacked, you scream, you shout. If it's somebody who's living in your mother's house, if it's a relative, if it's your own father, you actually do not feel threatened. And whatever knowledge you have that you've gained in this summit, I want you to share it with other people. Because knowledge is not of any good if you don't absorb it, internalize it, and accept it as the way you want to lead your life. All right? But it's also supposed to be shared. If you know something good that can help somebody else, share it. It will go into your book of karmic debts. Huh? You'll be paying some debts and gaining some credits. So there are so many areas that I know you're challenged. Some of you come from very humble backgrounds where life is really hard. Some of you live in the informal settlements where the living conditions are really bad. But the government is working towards ensuring that we get better housing, which will reduce the SGBV that is happening, get better medicines and doctors and better teachers in our schools, better infrastructure. We're going to hopefully have a bumper harvest because thank God El Nino has delayed its coming, and now we're about to harvest. And with the fertilizers, the harvesting happened. Today we were talking to Harriet Chegai, who's the advisor of the president on gender. And she was saying, some of you come from, Nairobi is a home away from home. Some of you come from upcountry, even if you're Nairobi residents, and those who are upcountry. There is so much gain, even fertilizers at low price if you register with the chief. You spend so much time on social media with the little data that you have, sending forwards and forwards and forwards. Things that, me, first of all, I have 30,000 contacts. And if all of them say, Happy New Month, Happy Monday, Happy Tuesday, Happy Good Day, and then you send stories, when the more the story is bad or the more the story is good, you forward it, and it actually, your WhatsApp will tell you, forwarded many times, and you're still forwarding it. And if it's not going to help the other person and it didn't help you, all you're doing is wasting time, and time is money. So remember, if you're on YouTube, find a cause. There's a website called Ellisons.com or org, and it gives you free education. You can do certificate after certificate free, Ellisons. Get into Ellisons and do a course, whether it's human resources, whether it's even that plumbing, whether it's customer service, whether it's public speaking. Don't waste your time forward, gossiping, chit-chatting. Have an hour a day for doing that. Iyo saa ikishamalizika, una focus sasa kujiimprove. Because to become rich, how many of you want to be rich? How many of you want to be rich? I mean, like really have real money. I hear there's a movie that's playing right now at the cinemas called Dumb Money. And it's a true story. All right? So if you can put some resources kidogo and go for a movie, that's a good movie to go and watch. But I want you to spend your time making yourself a better citizen. You know, I got my first degree at the age of 50, but I started working at the age of 18. But when I worked at the age of 18, I made sure that every course that was available, I took it. And I learned. I've been watching you as the camera shines on you. Some of you are doing something that I hate with all my heart. When you go to a conference like this, or when you go for an interview, or when you go to pitch for a job, please don't take your chewing gum with you. Can you imagine if I was standing here and talking to you, and I'm chewing, and I'm talking to you? Come on. Chewing gum, you end up concentrating on the gum. You're not concentrating on what you're doing. So I want you to remember that yesterday is gone. Okay? It's history. Today is all you got. Tomorrow is a mystery. All right? You don't know what tomorrow is going to bring. It's a mystery. So what is yesterday? History. Right? What is yesterday? You can't go back yesterday and fix anything, can you? So what is tomorrow? A mystery, because you don't know whether you're going to be here or not and what's coming tomorrow, right? But today is all you got. So whatever plans you have, do one thing today to move forward towards that plan. Do one thing today to eat healthier so that you can avoid terminal illnesses. How many of you know whether how many of you are over 18? All right, so almost everybody is over 18, right? So, you know you need your NHIF card. The government is trying to make sure we improve NHIF and make sure it gives you all the services that you need. But you know what most Kenyans do? They wait until somebody's sick and then they cut the NHIF. And NHIF has recognized that. So if you take your NHIF card today, you are not going to be covered tomorrow if you go into hospital. They will tell you to wait for the 3 months period. And that's everywhere in the world, any insurance company you take. So you have your 3 months waiting period, and then you send Mheshimiwa a message, Mheshimiwa, niko na mgonjwa wangu hospitali, bill imefika 1 million na sina pesa, uko na NHIF? Hapana, nitatoa hiyo pesa wapi? You know, you need to take NHIF so that you can be treated with dignity in a public hospital. And some people tell me, oh, we cannot afford NHIF. 500 shillings, kwanza the one who has a baby, 500 shillings ataeka yeye na mtoto wake. Okay? So, 500 shillings, I want you to stop having sugar. Sugar is so expensive, and all of you, mukieka hiyo sukari kwa chai, hata uonji chai, unaonja tu sukari. Alafu unapata diabetes, ina increase cancers, hypertension. All the diseases you can think of are related to sugar. Okay? And anything white. Okay, and I'm not racist. Anything white, meaning white ugali, white rice, white chapati, all those things are really bad for you. So I want you to also start thinking healthy right now. I saw a doctor who was speaking about the pandemic and how many people died. And he said in the pandemic, 90% of the people who died had an underlying illness. And those underlying illnesses are brought by our lifestyle. And our lifestyle is not eating healthy, not exercising. All right? And you don't have to be in a gym to exercise. Karura Forest, you go, you walk, and you enjoy the forest and you enjoy the good oxygen. I just want you to know that you are the captain of your ship. Your life is in your hand. It's not your mother, it's not your father. They gave birth to you, you've reached 18. Now you're an adult, a young adult. Plan your life. And remember, it's hard work, but hard work pays. Honesty pays, right? And you've got to be honest with yourself. When you look in that mirror, if you're lying to yourself, then you're not going to achieve the life that you want. So you stand in the front of that mirror and say, you did well today. You ate healthy. You exercised. You did one thing. You took one step towards your goal. You learned, you shared your knowledge with another girl or another boy. You took family planning so that you don't have reckless sex and you're not going to have another baby that is unplanned. All right? And how many of you here belong to chamas? You know this chama table banking? Only one. We're doing very badly. So the government has given the women rep money. All right? And the money that the women reps have is to empower through grants. It's not a loan, it's a grant. You empower groups of women that come together. So if you're 20 women, because you're all youth, and you register a chama as a self-help group or a CBO, all right? Register self-help is cheaper. And then you start saving table banking. You open a bank account and you put some money in there. After 3 months, you can apply to the Women Reps Office for Women Economic Empowerment, which means you will get chama money, 100,000, free of charge. You don't have to refund it to us. When you get that money, you can lend it to each other or you can do a project. If you do a project and that project grows, let's say you started a restaurant and it grows, you come back to the Women Reps Fund and you say, I want now, we've opened a restaurant, we want to buy extra tables, extra chairs, a new cooker, a new fridge. And we will give you that money up to 1 million shillings to improve that business. If you're doing chicken business, if you're doing farming, you can get. You've got to be a group of at least 20 young girls together saving money. So you will always say it's never enough. But I can see all of you have got fantastic hairdos. Huh? Some of you have got really nice hairdos. Do your hair once a month. Save that extra money. For what? For doing something with the chama. There's nothing good about looking good and you're broke. All right? I'd rather you look good. You know, the smile doesn't cost money. It's just mswaki. Mswaki peke yake, una shine meno ukismile. Here she's smiling and her hair is so short and she's looking so outstanding. Not spend too much money on Chinese hair and then we cannot afford to save money for the chama to buy equipment for our business, all right? Let us walk natural. Lupita proved that you can have a shaved head and you look absolutely stunning, isn't it? So if you're wasting money on hair, wasting money on things that should not help you, please remember life out there is going to beat you down. And then the Hustler Fund. I know the Hustler Fund, when you join it, it gives you a little money. But if you pay it, you get the next loan. Do you know, I've seen Kenyans send me messages and tell me, Madhe, si tutumie lunch. So I said, okay, unataka lunch kapi? 1,000. Lakini usitume kwa hii namba iko na fuliza. Tuma kwa hii ingine. Do you know, Kenya times Safaricom started registering people. Kenyans can have 3-4 lines in a household, all of them on fuliza. Deni lazima ilipwe. Okay? You have to be honorable people because the good Lord blesses the one who is honest. So all I want to say today, you've had an opportunity, you are chosen to be here. Share that knowledge and remember that whatever is contained in this memorandum that you've given us, we will sit together with the governor of Nairobi and all his ministers and we will try and see where we can help. Okay? Where we can help to make sure that your lives are okay. Okay, and another thing, you know, I'm looking at the CS of sports here. Have you noticed how Kenya is doing in sports recently? Have you noticed the billions they're making just running? Nani hana miguu hapa? Anzeni kukimbia bwana. Tuchukue hiyo pesa yote, hakuna pahali itaenda, itakuja tu Kenya. Kama uko na miguu na uko na mbio, haki, uende uingie kwa hiyo Hall of Fame. We really want to thank the CS because amekuja na energy nzuri sana. Tuna break records left, right and center, na si wanaume peke yake, wamama pia wanavunja ma records, si ndio? So sports is another way to stay out of trouble and to also be able to deal with mental issues, all right? Because you're channeling your energy, and at the same time, it's a good way to make money. So I want to say thank you for listening to me. Happy International Girls' Day, and congratulations to all your partners on a summit well planned. Thank you.
Wow. That was deep, yeah? Straight from the mother to the daughter. We are inspired. Thank you, Mheshimiwa Passaris. Thank you, our county MP. We really appreciate your time. And at this juncture, I wish to invite our CS Sports, Mr. Namwamba, karibu sana, our CS Youth. Just before I invite, okay, our plan was, because Waziri Nyalita is representing the governor, who was our guest of honor, then she will give the speech of the governor last. But if Waziri amesema atakuja mbele ya CS, then that is fine. Karibu Waziri.
Makofi mengi sana kwa waziri wa Nairobi County. Makofi.
Thank you, Mariam. You know, you learn from experience. I've been in a similar situation before where the CS was there and I was the one on the floor like you, and our governor was there, so I was quickly advised. So you're quite in order. Waziri Sports and Youth, Ababu Manamwamba, I know you are also baptized, but take this opportunity also to apologize for that. Our very energetic woman rep, Esther Passaris. Please give them a round of applause. Very exciting insights therein, and I'm hoping that the young ladies and gentlemen in the house have really taken a hint from her. Professor Kiama, the Vice Chancellor of their University of Nairobi. We've had an opportunity to get 2 degrees, my basic degree and my postgraduate. Very happy to be back. Invited guests, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. I have been sent by my boss to represent him, His Excellency, the Governor of Nairobi. We have very many activities that are happening across the city, across the county, and he has sent a lot of us as Waziris to represent him. And he passes his greetings. Before I start, I'd like to introduce the team from the county so that you know who is the go-to person at the county. So we have, I don't know if there are any Waziris here, my colleagues. They have not come, but again, as I've told you, they are busy out there. So we have Chief Officer Mariam Dahir. Mariam is responsible for gender and inclusivity. Yeah. Then we had, who else is here? Just introduce them.
Okay. Team from gender, we can stand up, and also from health, yeah, and anybody else from the county. Yeah, so we have got our director, gender and inclusivity, Madam Jen there. Madam, you can wave. And the lady behind is from health, representing the Chief Officer Health, Chief Officer Medical Services, you can wave. And the rest of the team are just around from gender and inclusivity. So yeah, we have got a team there. Maybe you can wave, all of you. Yeah, that is the team from the City County of Nairobi. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mariam. And also to respond to some of the questions that were raised, and this is before I read His Excellency's speech. At the county, one of the biggest, I don't know what they call it, an achievement of commitment actually from His Excellency the Governor is seeing the importance of gender and inclusivity, the importance of public participation, and he has created a sector to focus on that. So a lot of the things that have been raised in the what we received just a few minutes ago is actually captured in our work plan. It's captured in our CIDP. So it is important for the ladies and gentlemen who are here, as we received it's called memorandum, yeah, to know that we are ahead of the game as a county. So we have a very committed team under the gender and inclusivity, but more important for citizen engagement is a public participation and customer service. So we have that commitment from the governor. There was a question about the opportunities for the youth. We have gender and PWD's mainstreaming. It's a key focus for us. And part of what we do mainstream and sensitize the other sectors is compliance with the AGPO requirement, which provides that at least we reserve 30% of our procurement to the youth, people with PWDs and so on and so forth. So that's already taken care of in our policy, and we continue to sensitize our sectors. But more importance, we produce a report for national government and for Treasury at the end of every financial year. So that is the commitment we have from the Nairobi City County. So to go to His Excellency's speech, so I'm humbled and honored to stand before you today as we come together to commemorate International Girl Child Day 2023. We gather today not just to celebrate the achievements and the promise of our young women, but to commit ourselves again to removing the barriers still in their way. And we've had the stories told by the young ladies who gave their testimonies this morning. And what are these barriers? First, education. Our culture still sometimes discourages the education of women. We still sometimes encourage early marriage when it would be better for a girl to stay in school. And when money is tight, girls often are asked to stay home to earn something for the family. And we've heard the stories. I could go on. But the bottom line is that a number of factors come together to make it harder for a girl to finish school, to get a decent education, compared to their brothers. Second, violence and abuse, and we've heard it. Let's be clear, this is one of the most severe challenges Kenya's women face. There are terrible cases reported every so often, but the media rarely reports the less spectacular but more common, the assaults, the abuse, the harassment. In parts of the county, this sort of behavior is so frequent that girls feel unsafe in public, even if they are just going to school or going to the shops. Third, health. I think we've made great advances in our provision for female health. In everything from obstetric health to FGM, the country and the county are better than they were even 5 years ago. But there's a long way still to go in meeting the distinctive health needs of our young girls, particularly those who need financial help to get the products they need. So that's three of our most pressing challenges. What are we going to do, or what are we doing to make sure that our girls grow into women of achievement? Well, first, my administration, through the Department of Gender, is working day and night to cut teenage pregnancies and gendered violence, to make available the health products our girls need, and to help them in our journey through our education system. And I must confirm, in this year's budget, we have set money aside to provide sanitary pads for the girls, for the needy girls. So that for me is a very good confirmation of the commitment from the governor, His Excellency Johnson Sakaja. The department's mentorship program is underway. It takes girls from sub-county level, then instructs them on issues affecting girls in the society and how to deal with them. We have also opened a safe house, and thanks to Mama County, Mheshimiwa. She is spearheading the construction of a very beautiful safe house. I think it's unfortunate you didn't mention it, but really it is something spectacular. And it is the only one in the country that is owned by a county that is going to be, and it's be launched before the end of the year. So thank you very much. I know you're very passionate about it, and we really appreciate and want to thank you for that initiative. Asante sana. So the safe house where girls who have experienced gender violence are sheltered. While at the shelter, the girls are also taught skills aimed at empowering them economically. I'm very pleased to be able to mention that the construction, which I've just mentioned, is underway for a bigger and more spacious safe house to cater for the growing need in our society. And I also must thank our partners who have also made it possible for us to be able to provide the services at the shelter house among, as part of a journey of, taking care of the GBV survivors. Second, we have set aside bursaries for the most vulnerable in the society. We have also set aside money to provide sanitary towels to girls in our schools. That one I've mentioned. But more than that, ladies and gentlemen, we must engage our girls in decisions that impact them. It is not enough merely to give them this or that, but to make another policy. I like the commitment that the girls have made. You did not just ask and ask, but you also said you're committed and what you're going to do. It is very important. And I'm very happy that in our gender aspects, we will incorporate and ensure that the male gender is also part of a journey, because until that happens, then we are not going to hack it. Yeah. So we must listen to the voices of the girls. We must value their opinion. We must actively involve them in discussions and decision-making processes concerning their lives. If we do, we will empower them. We'll make them the confident, assertive individuals capable of shaping their own destinies that they deserve to be. And that is why, to close, I will return to education. It is quality education that teaches our girls that knowledge and skills, not just to make a living, but to be confident, productive mothers, professionals, and leaders. And you have seen a number of them here, and they continue to inspire us. Yeah. It is education that breaks the cycles of poverty in which too many of our families are stuck. It is education that makes healthy families possible. When an educated girl grows up and has children, if she chooses to, those children are likelier to be healthy and productive if the mother was educated. In every way, educating a girl benefits not just her family, but her entire community and her country. And so it is our collective responsibility to ensure that every girl can learn. That means letting her come to school. That means providing nutritious meals, as we are doing with the school feeding program, so that every child who makes it to school is able to concentrate on their lessons and work to the best of their ability. It means cracking down on harassment in public places. And it means preparing and mentoring our girls so that they are ready to fly when the time comes. But all this requires collaboration, and I must thank the partners who have come and supported this initiative, and we continue to work with many more at the county that are helping us achieve our objectives at the county, because alone we cannot make it. So it requires partnerships, and it calls for years upon years of hard work. And I must tell you that the team in the Nairobi City County is very, 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 very hardworking. I didn't know that until I got in. So well done to the team at the county. Let's continue to serve the residents of Nairobi. So are you ready to work with me to bring down the barriers that hold back our girls? Are you ready to create a world where every single one of our girls can reach their full potential? Do you want one of our girls to win a Nobel Prize, perhaps the Economic Nobel Prize, which was won by a woman just a few days ago? If you want all those things, then let's work together to educate our girls, to protect them from abuse, to mentor them as best as we can, and to look diligently after their health. Asanteni sana, and a warm word of thank you also to our sponsors, whose generosity is beyond praise. Thank you. This is His Excellency Honorable Sakaja Arthur Johnson, CBS, the Governor of Nairobi City County. Asanteni sana. And it is my pleasure to welcome the CS Youth and Sports, Honorable Ababu Namwamba, to come and address the session. Please give him a round of applause.
Makofi mengi sana.
Yeah. Until he comes. Karibu sana Mheshimiwa. Karibu Waziri. Thank you. Yeah.
Asante sana, Daktari Anastasia. Hello, ladies. Hi. Are you good? Excellent. Now, I'm delighted really to be here to join you for this very unique Girls Summit 2023. I was advised that this is also the International Day of the Girl Child. And I quickly wondered, when is the International Day of the Boy Child? And it just dawned on me that the boy child is in trouble. But I'm happy. This is a very unique occasion to beam the spotlight on the important issues, reproductive health conversation, the well-being of 85% of the population of our country. The cohort we are talking about here, 10 to 24-year-olds, is a massive demographic profile in our land. And there's no way as a country you're going to go anywhere if you do not pay keen attention to 85% of your population. And that is why I want to say that those who have put together this conversation are definitely serving this country in the right way. I'm very happy to join my very good friend and brother, Professor Kiamba, the Vice Chancellor of my alma mater, a school where I spent some amazing time as a young man. This university is where I honed my leadership skills as a student leader, and it is always a pleasure to come back to the university, the University of Nairobi. And I want to thank Professor in a special way because I have had a lot of events with the young people in this university. The last one was the Africa Climate Summit. And at each of those events, Professor has been on hand to be engaged, to participate. And Prof, you're doing an amazing job. We wish you well as you steer this great institution that we are all so proud of. I'm also very happy to join my very good sister and friend, the Member of Parliament for Nairobi County. That is such a mighty title. The Member of Parliament for Nairobi County. And Esther is doing an absolutely amazing job. She's also everywhere. I have also met her in so many fora, including boxing. And so she's everywhere, doing everything in the service of the people. Amazing work you're doing, Esther. Very, very proud of you. And anything we can do to help support your work, the amazing work you're doing, we would gladly do that. I also acknowledge representation of the leadership of the great county of Nairobi, the leadership of my good friend and brother, Governor Sakaja. Very happy to see you, Daktari, leading a strong team to represent our capital, our county of Nairobi, and all the partners who have put this event together. I got an invitation to come here from a young lady from Stretchers, Julie. Julie, are you in here? And Julie kept on insisting, you must come to this event. And so today was a very tight day, but I said, I want to come and listen to the conversation going on here. And I must say, I've been supremely impressed by the agenda here and the conversation. But then, after you handed us this communique, I read through it pretty fast. And then I came to the page where you're talking about youth commitments. And you have committed to do some things here. You have committed to do advocacy. You have committed to do awareness. You have committed to engage men and boys. You have committed to do empowerment. And it is all very good that you have made commitments to do some very impressive things. So the only message I want to share with you is that I want you to commit also to take responsibility. It is all very well to do advocacy and seek to empower others and seek to change others. But as we have been taught by great minds through history, from the Buddha to Christ, to Mahatma Gandhi, to Barack Obama, the change you are looking for in the world actually rests with you. It all starts with who? With you. Often we want to change everyone else except the self. So among these commitments, I want us to also commit to take responsibility. To take responsibility for ourselves, to take responsibility for our species. And the first responsibility I want you to start taking is about your dreams. You must be people who dream. The world is built by dreamers. The world is changed by dreamers. A lady who once served as the 32nd First Lady of the US, United States of America, Eleanor Roosevelt, put it beautifully. Eleanor Roosevelt, who was a writer, a thinker in her own right, writes and says the future belongs to those who believe in the beauty of their dreams. The future belongs to those who believe in the beauty of their dreams. But there'll be no beauty of any dream if you don't dream. So dream. Be young people who can dream. Dream dreams that scare you. If you're dreaming a dream and it is not scaring you, go back and dream again. Dream something that is profound. And when I talk about Eleanor Roosevelt, I read a lot of writings from this lady. She was a lady married to a great man. In fact, Eleanor's husband, FDR, Franklin Delano Roosevelt, could easily be rated as the greatest president ever to preside over the United States of America, the 32nd president. He is the only president that had 4 terms as president. In the United States, the term limit is 2 terms. But FDR is the only president that would rule America for how many terms? 4 terms. Great man, very transformative leader. Led the US through the Great Depression to the New Age. But he had a wife who dreamt beyond the husband and dreamt around the self and challenged herself. And so in the same breath, you'll quote FDR and his great transformation, you'll also quote Eleanor Roosevelt. Not Eleanor Roosevelt, the wife of FDR, but Eleanor Roosevelt as Eleanor Roosevelt. So I want you to challenge yourself to be people who dream and dream big. In that same spirit of challenging yourself and taking responsibility, I also want you to be people who are not afraid to test the limits, to stretch the limits, and to try new things, and to think beyond your circumstances. A great American evangelist, he has since left this earth, famously said, "I'd rather attempt to do something great and fail than attempt to do nothing and succeed." I'd rather attempt to do something great and fail than attempt to do nothing and succeed. Of course, if you don't attempt to do anything, you'll succeed, but you'll be succeeding at nothing. That's the tragedy of it. So don't be afraid to try new things. Don't be afraid to stretch limits. And I want to tell you that at the Ministry of Youth Affairs and Sports, we have opportunities that I want to challenge you to take advantage of. I want to challenge you to take advantage of our program on climate adaptation. Today, the greatest existential threat to humanity is climate change. We are rolling out a special program which will be implemented between the ministry, this university, through the Wangari Maathai Center, the University of Groningen in the Netherlands, and the Center for Climate Adaptation. And that program is called 1 Million Youth Green Army, an army of young people to become stakeholders in the whole climate change and climate adaptation agenda. But we don't just want young people to plant trees. We want young people to be environmentally aware. And that is why we are partnering with this university, and we are partnering with the University of Groningen in the south of the Netherlands. So you will get an opportunity to be skilled, to learn about the environment, to learn about climate change, to learn about climate adaptation. And at the end of that program, you'll actually get a certificate that can be the springboard for those of you who may want to build a career in climate adaptation in the environment space. I invite you to take advantage of that program. And I would be very happy to liaise with the organizers of this summit to see how these young people can transition into that program seamlessly of the 1 Million Youth Green Army. I was in New York 2 weeks ago to take up a position on the Global Leadership Council for Generation Unlimited. Generation Unlimited is the UN's platform for young people globally. And we presented Kenya's young people's agenda at that level. It was received so well, but what excited Generation Unlimited the most in New York was this 1 million green army of young people taking control of the climate adaptation and the climate change agenda. I invite you to board that train. I also invite you to take advantage of our flagship Talanta Hela initiative. And in Talanta Hela, mambo ni matatu. Kutambua talanta yako, kunoa talanta yako, alafu kugeuza talanta yako iwe pesa mfukoni. Identifying your talent, developing your talent, and turning your talent into a sustainable livelihood for you. And it is talents in sports, talents in music, in film, in that whole space of the creative industry. Again, I invite you to take advantage of that Talanta Hela initiative. In the next 1 week, we will be uploading the Talanta Hela digital platform where you can plug in from any part of this country. Beating restrictions of space and distance, you can be part of this. I'm also inviting you to be part of a number of key events that are on the horizon. Right now, we are running the Presidential Innovation Challenge, and it is for young people. And we are challenging young people to innovate and innovate about everything. You can innovate around agriculture by making agriculture cool. I love talking about agriculture because many young people do not find the whole agenda of food security attractive because you don't find agriculture cool. Agriculture is for 65-year-olds. We are telling young people there's no way we are going to fix the food security challenge without 85% of our population. And 85% who are the most energetic, who are the most imaginative, and who eat the most, more than anyone else. So we want you to be part of the food security agenda. And to do that, we are inviting you to be part of this Presidential Innovation Challenge. You can innovate in fintech, you can innovate in agriculture, you can innovate around reproductive health. Anything. Actually, I would challenge you to bring forth innovative ideas around reproductive healthcare, and areas where you can pretty much grow the agenda you are discussing here. We'll be rewarding the best innovations next month during the Kenya Innovation Week Commonwealth Edition. We have invited the entire Commonwealth. 56 countries of the Commonwealth are coming to Nairobi on 27th and 28th of November. The best innovations from the Presidential Innovation Challenge will be unveiled during that Commonwealth Innovation platform. So you'll be able to showcase your best ideas to an audience of 56 countries, from Canada to the UK to Samoa to New Zealand to Australia to Nigeria, all the Commonwealth across the globe. And once we identify your innovation as worth progressing, we'll give each innovation 5 million shillings startup to help progress your idea into an entrepreneurship. And in December, Kenya is hosting the Youth Connect Africa Summit from the 8th to the 12th of December. 20,000 African youth from the Cape to Cairo, from Lamu to Lagos. 20,000 young people from across the length and breadth of Africa coming to Nairobi to engage around the theme, Youth Innovating a Borderless African Renaissance. Youth Innovating a Borderless African Renaissance. We're bringing African youth together to imagine an Africa that is borderless, where you can imagine yourself in Cape Town, in Timbuktu, in Marrakesh, where your ideas can flow across this continent and transform an African renaissance. I want all the young people in this hall to be part of the Youth Connect Africa Summit in December. And we'll be asking the organizers to make sure that the delegates you registered for this forum are plugged direct into the Youth Connect, to the Connect Summit. Asanteni sana, and wish you well until the end of this forum. Thank you very much.
Kofi mengi sana kwa Mheshimiwa Waziri. Makofi jamani kwa Mheshimiwa Waziri. Wapi makofi?
Julie.
Hayo ndio makofi ya Mheshimiwa Waziri jamani. Hongera sana Mheshimiwa Waziri, asante sana kwa muda huu, kwa heshima nyingi sana. Naomba DJ andae mziki. Tunataka tukate keki kwa furaha na ribo nyingi sana.
Kabisa.
Na nilivyosikia Mheshimiwa mwakilishi wa kina mama alivyosema, ukipendeza ukuwe na pesa pia.
Ukuwe na pesa pia.
Sasa wewe una pesa?
Niko na hela ndugu.
Au ni masuti tu? Bila shaka asante sana. Tutamwalika dada huyu anaitwa Julie ambaye atatuongoza kwenye masuala haya ya ukataji keki. Hii ni kuashiria tu na kuadhimisha siku ya msichana ulimwenguni. Mheshimiwa Waziri na wageni walikwa, hii ni historia inatendeka hapa katika ukumbi huu wa taifa. Kwa hivyo DJ, tunaomba mziki. Tukipata mziki tuendelee ku Haya, Julie.
DJ. Good afternoon, everyone. All protocols observed. Thank you so much for turning up for this event. Special thank you to Honorable Ababu Namwamba. I really begged him akuja hapa jana usiku. I begged him.
Makofi mengi jamani.
Thank you. Thank you. We appreciate your presence. So we are going to have Waziri Anastasia. You are going to take lead in this, please, kindly. And we are going to have the following girls. Watakuwa kikata hii keki. We have Wangari. Please make your entrance here. Malkia, Wanuri, Vivian, DJ Wiwa, and Angela. Mary and Gloria. So I'm going to hand it over to Waziri. Please guide us on how to do
Waziri,
this.
kipaza sauti, asante sana.
Okay, cool. Thank you very much for this opportunity. I want to welcome Waziri wa National Youth, Mheshimiwa Pasaris, Professor Kiama, to join the team in cutting the cake. Oh yes.
Jamani, haya tukae tayari. In the count of 5, ladies and gentlemen, mko tayari? Haya tunaanza. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. DJ, tupe mziki. Wapi shangwe na nderemo jamani? Asante sana. Kata. 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 Asante sana DJ, shukran sana. Asante sana Waziri Anastasia, asante sana Profesa, asante sana Mheshimiwa Waziri. Hiyo ama kweli imekuwa historia. Tunaomba kwa heshima mnaweza keti chini, lakini kama mnavyojua mama anasavu watoto wake. Naona anakata polepole kuhakikisha kwamba kila kitu kipo. DJ, tunaomba mziki tukisubiri keki. Asante DJ. Asante sana, na wanasema utamu wa sherehe ni kula keki. Waziri apewe asipewe? Asante, lakini amesema kwa sababu yeye ni mtu wa huduma atatoa kwanza. Bila shaka waziri anaitoa rasmi.
Asante kabisa, anaitoa rasmi.
Asante sana. Wapi makofi kwa waziri? Makofi kwa waziri. Asante sana Mheshimiwa Waziri. Hii ama kweli ni siku ya mtoto wa kike, ameamua kumpatia mtoto wa kike keki hiyo. DJ, tunaomba mziki mtulivu kidogo, tukizidi kusubiri ulaji wa keki. Naambiwa kuna chakula cha mchana ambacho kimeandaliwa kwa wageni mahususi kwa ajili ya siku hii. Vile vile nakumbushwa kwa wageni wetu, kunavyo mabanda pale nje ya mashirika mbalimbali ambao kwa heshima nyingi sana mnaomba mtembelee. Na mwandaaji anawakilisha naye Julie kama mwandaaji, naye anasema ni wakati naye atamlisha waziri. Bila shaka makofi mengi sana. Wapi makofi? Asante waziri, sana. Asante sana. Asante sana. Julie pia anamlisha waziri Anastasia. Makofi mengi tena. Ameamua. Anamlisha sasa Profesa. Asante sana. Hongera sana. Shukran. Bila shaka. Ukimlisha mama Julie amesema sawa kabisa. Amesema asante, sawa, asante kabisa. DJ, unaweza kuweka ngoma, keki katwe. Lunch is ready tafadhali. Lunch is ready. Tunaweza enda kukula lunch. Alafu wakati mawaziri wakitembelea zile mabanda tunaweza shukuru sana zile exhibition kweli. Na kuna lunch yao pia inakuwa safi pale. DJ, cheza kama wewe. Kuna picha pamoja naambiwa ya wandaaji na Mheshimiwa Waziri. Ningeomba kwa heshima DJ tungepiga picha upande wa juu kwa ajili ya bango rasmi la siku hii kwa heshima nyingi sana. Just one group photo. Yes, kindly. Thank you so much Mheshimiwa Waziri. Asante sana. Mabibi na mabwana wanaokuja jukwani sasa ni Mheshimiwa Waziri wa masuala ya vijana na michezo, pamoja na Profesa mwenyeji wetu Profesa Kiama akiandamana na mwakilishi wa akina mama katika kaunti ya Nairobi, bila shaka pamoja na waandaaji wa shughuli hii. Tunaomba kwa heshima tutoe bango hii. Asante sana. Picha hii itaandikwa kwenye vitabu vya historia kama uadhimishaji wa awamu ya 5. This is the 5th edition, ladies and gentlemen. This is the 5th edition of the Girls Summit, and this year we are having it right here in Nairobi County. Makofi mengi jamani kwao, kwa heshima. Makofi kwao tafadhali, asante sana. Hii ni picha muhimu kweli ambayo inaleta pamoja washikadau mbalimbali katika serikali ya county na serikali ya kitaifa. Asante sana mabibi na mabwana. Shukran sana Mheshimiwa Waziri. Mheshimiwa Waziri sasa pamoja na wageni waheshimiwa wataelekezwa kwenye mabanda spesheli ya mashirika mbalimbali na wadau ambao wameandaa shughuli hii. Anaandamana na mwakilishi wa kina mama katika kaunti ya Nairobi, anaandamana vile vile na mwenyeji wetu Profesa Kiama, anaandamana vile vile na Waziri Anastasia, muhimu sana katika serikali ya kaunti kuhakikisha kwamba wanatambua michango tofauti ya washikadau katika siku hii muhimu. Asante sana. Sasa baada ya hii mabibi na mabwana, tuko wazi kupata chakula na keki pia kibao iko hapa kuhakikisha kwamba kila mmoja anakuwa part and parcel of this special event. Asante sana DJ. Ukiniruhusu tupatie muziki sasa.
This is Hendrix Sound.